USA hockey team. We did it. Finally. What, 40 years? Man, not bad at all. I like hockey. As you can see, I'm a hockey fan. Chicago all day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's check this out.
In a more divided and uncertain world, your success will unite Canadians from coast to coast to coast and remind us that we are part of something bigger.
Making it happen. Yeah, I know, yeah. Make it happen.
A few moments later.
Jack Hughes wins it! A golden goal for the United States!
USA.
In an instant classic 2-1 overtime win in men's hockey in one of the most intense events of the Milan Cortina Olympics. Jack Hughes scored the winning goal just 1 minute and 41 seconds into overtime. This marks the U.S.'s first gold medal in Olympic
Good morning.
Since the 1980 Miracle on Ice game. It is the U.S. men's third gold medal in the sport.
Boy. We got to talk about a whole lot of Canadian tears, okay? The Canadian tears of Floyd, because they once again took another L to the United States of America, okay? Headline, Team USA men's hockey wins gold medal in overtime against Canada at Winter Olympics. Yes, this was a devastating loss for Canada, but I don't know, man. They should have known that this was coming, because have you guys seen the hype videos from Team USA going into this matchup? I'm telling you, it gave me goosebumps to see them boys excited about this matchup. Take a look.
Well, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? We won. Here we go. I'm going to show you. Right.
USA hockey is do or die. USA hockey is do or die. Put hockey stick in my hand. Put hockey stick in my hand. Send me off to a foreign land. Send me off to a foreign land. Carl said I'd be a star. Carl said I'd be a star. And I'd go very far. Then I'd go very far. First generation in my class. First generation in my class. Sweeter thinker. Sweeter thinker. Yeah, I love that shit. Hey, I love it.
USA, baby. That's what I'm talking about, man. Love your country, man. All that crying and whining. Go represent America. Let's win. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's the stuff I want to see from our Olympic athletes. When you represent the U.S. on the world stage, that is what I want to see, okay? I don't want to see that bullshit that we saw a couple weeks ago where you had the woke athletes talking about how,
Good morning. Like and subscribe. Good morning.
Right now and all that crap. I don't want to hear that.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S.
This guy here is trash.
It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of. I think for me, it's more I'm representing my friends and family back home, the people that represented before me. I just think if it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it.
Okay, that's not what we want to hear. Okay. So with Team USA, their win came after the Team USA women's team beat Canada as well too to win a gold medal. So let's read about this, because this is on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Team USA was able to force overtime in the men's ice hockey gold medal game against Canada on Sunday, and Jack Hughes sent them home with a gold medal at the Winter Olympics. Hughes scored early into the overtime period, getting the puck past Canadian goaltender Jordan Binnington. The U.S. won the game 2-1, picking up the first gold medal since the Miracle on Ice squad did it in 1980. It also came on the 46th anniversary of the U.S. upsetting the Soviet Union in the Olympic semi-final. Yeah, so as you can imagine, Canadian fans...
American made, baby. Right? USA.
Coping very, very, very hard.
Good morning.
With the loss, right? Once again, taking an L to the United States of America. Now, remember, these are the same people who basically booed last year doing our national anthem, right? So they've been trying to stick it to us when it comes to hockey and showing their displeasure with the United States of America, but they just haven't had a very successful time doing that. And this is essentially another completely humiliating set of circumstances for that country, right? Which, you know, hey, it is what it is.
We not only just saw the greatest save in hockey history, but one of the great sporting performances you'll ever see. U.S. goalie Connor Hellebuyck just had 41
Good morning, good morning. Like and subscribe. Good morning, good morning.
In games involving NHL players.
Happy Monday.
Game at a time to not only win it all, but change his perception.
Name is Deontay.
Despite being the best goalie in the league, and last year winning the Hart Trophy as the league MVP and the Vezina as the best goalie in the league, he had the reputation and the stats backed it up that he struggled in the big games. But after the way he just handled an absolutely loaded Canadian team, bringing home first place.
Thank you.
Set the new saves record. Connor Hellebuyck officially just had one of the great sporting performances you'll ever see. I want to be happy for the American players for winning that gold medal. But
how you doing, Terrence?
And anyone who knows hockey knows Canada dominated that game and should have won it. But Connor Hellebuyck was unbelievable. Well deserved for him and America. But watching Dave Portnoy make a video like he did in Dave Portnoy fashion just makes it very hard to like him and the Americans. But nonetheless, congrats, America.
Well, it's a terrible Sunday morning for Canadians. One word to describe that game: heartbreak. As someone who's been around the game for a long time, I'm now a coach. I played high-level hockey growing up. I think we can all say Canada was the better team offensively. I still think we are the better team. But U.S., y'all got a demon in there. Hellebuyck literally stole the show, and he won it for y'all. Canada had way too many missed opportunities, especially that 5-on-3 in the second period. And with that lineup, only putting up one goal is just not good enough. However, I'm not here to make excuses. That's the best U.S. team I've seen in a long time, and I gained a lot of respect for a lot of the players on that team. Hell of a game. You know, we witnessed a great hockey game this morning for all hockey fans. So congrats to my U.S. fans.
USA, baby.
Once we're shitting on our country, just know we're still the best.
You know what, Canada, it's okay. We can let them have this. We can let them have it. The better team lost. It's true, but think about it. Americans have so little to cheer for right now. They're laughed at daily by the rest of the world, and their presidents are paid at.
Imagine being Canadian and like the literal one single thing that your country is good at. You guys absolutely fucking choke in both the men's and women's against your arch nemesis, the United States of America. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. Thank God I'm American.
Facts. Facts. Thank God I'm American. I feel like I wake up every single day and say that, right? When I look at the news, when I examine what's going on across the world, for as crazy as this country is, right? For as much as we have issues with Democrats and woke lunatics, I still thank God that I'm American. So with that being said, hey, there's a lot of trolling that is happening, right? For example, you have Robbie Starbuck says, incredible, Team USA beats Canada again to win the gold medal in hockey. U.S. has now won both men and women's gold. This is like Canada beating us at football. Total embarrassment for Mark J. Carney. Incredible goal to win it all by USA Hockey. Yeah. So these memes are going around. Even the White House is getting in on it, right? In response to Justin Trudeau claiming you can't take our country and you can't take our game. Yeah. We got something to say about that, right? Again, the best part is that Jack Hughes here. I would play this video, but I can't because the Olympics will copyright and block the video, right? So you just got to read the quote. He said after the game, "This is all about our country right now. I love the USA."
He said Trump covered up what?
The USA hockey.
Talking about the Epstein files? That's been around for 10 years. Obama had it. Joe Biden had it. So what you talking about, Terrence?
From our Olympic athletes, right? This is what you're supposed to say. If you're not going to say this, then don't say anything at all, okay? This is a breath of fresh air. Again, I wish I could play the video because it really is a great moment. But unfortunately, I can't because, again, the Olympics will block the video and then you won't see the video at all. So yeah, again, Canadian fans are having a hard time.
You want to be woke?
Right?
Oh, that's
one of the
beta.
worst moments of my life.
I want to be awakened, not woke.
Olympic hockey lost.
Woke, we go
Fans
broke.
across the country didn't
Or it
let
turns
the
to
early
shit,
morning
as they
hours
say.
keep them from coming together, and in the end, commensurating together after Canada's men's hockey team lost a heartbreaking Olympic gold medal game 2-1 in overtime. Quote, it was probably one of the two best hockey games I've ever watched, and then to lose 2-1 in overtime, 3-on-3, it was probably honestly one of the worst moments of my life. He said, quote, given the other games, I knew we could come back. He added, I didn't think we could lose. It was a shock. Canada earned its spot in the gold medal game with a late go-ahead goal against Finland, winning 3-2 after trailing 2-0 in the semifinal Friday. Yeah, so again, they're having a hard time with this, right? You have some people saying, quote, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble speaking right now. This is such a shame. Yeah, I would have trouble speaking too, right? If my country had taken an L like that, another L, to the United States of America. So I don't blame them, right? I don't blame them for being devastated. I don't blame them for crying, right? I don't blame them for coping. I get it. I understand it. When you're getting your butt spanked in almost every arena possible, right? Whether it be economic, whether it be when it comes to sports, whatever, right?
Have you read the Faust, Terrence?
I get why Canadians are feeling
Because his name is in it doesn't mean he did anything. He the one that told the cops on Epstein.
Hey,
he the one that snitched on him.
Issues with my Canadian brothers and sisters is all,
Whoopi Goldberg name in it.
When it comes to sports, I know when it comes to the trade stuff, hey, you got to look at your leader, right? Look at Mark Carney, right? Playing your leadership. You guys voted for a liberal because you hate Trump, right? And because you hate Trump, that has led to the hard times that you're currently experiencing when it comes to the trade negotiations that are currently happening between Canada and the United States of America. And look, here's the thing. Maybe some good news for Canada. Mark Carney seems like he's going to try to create some type of trade alliance outside of the United States of America, right? It seems as if he's going to try to, help Canada do it on their own, right? To, work around the United States of America. We'll see how that works.
Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney wants to create the world's largest trade alliance, which does not include America. Edward Lawrence at the White House. Edward, I'm sure President Trump is not happy with this.
Yeah, let's just say it has the attention of the White House. The White House official pointing out to me that 80% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border, and 75% of the Canadian exports come to the United States. That official also adding that it's in Canada's best interest to improve trade relations with the United States rather than fight sheer economic growth. The Canadian Prime Minister so far, though, going the other direction. Prime Minister Mark Carney negotiated a tariff deal with China that allows more Chinese imports into Canada. The Canadian Prime Minister leading conversations to link the Trans-Pacific Partnership 11-country bloc with the European Union, 27 member states, to create a rival trading bloc to the U.S. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith tells me Canada wants to protect itself.
We have a very integrated market with the United States, but we also know that we have an opportunity to be able to provide support to our friends and allies, whether it's on energy security or food security or any of a number of other
So you'll wait? No problem. Go ahead and wait.
The United States enjoys
No
robust
problem.
trade relationships with the world, and Canada does too.
Now, President Donald Trump taking offense to the Canadian trading moves while hinting he might not renew the USMCA North American trading bloc.
Negotiations often are tough and contentious, but the reality is that Canada's side, the president has used tariffs and his rhetoric and his negotiation style to now secure over a dozen historic trade deals that have leveled the playing field for American workers. And we're starting to see our exports surge and our trade deficits decrease.
Now, at the heart of this with Canada, the president wants to open up the agricultural market in Canada, specifically dairy, to U.S. products, as well as the alcohol market, as Canada has protected those historically.
And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good. Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada, who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped us off for a big portion. Over the years, They've taken our market. They've taken our cars.
He knew what he was doing. He held his word for a reason.
Germany and all over the place.
Everybody naming that file is all Democrats.
The position
Pictures of the Democrats at the island, the plane, eating. You don't see Trump doing all that stuff. Bill Clinton in the pool, naked. You don't see none of those things.
You can make your product outside. You can put our people out of business. You can put everybody on the unemployment rolls. But if you're going to make a car in some other country, you're going to pay a 15, 20,
Rob Davidson, thanks for joining in. Right.
Those things would have never happened. We wouldn't have lost our business.
Yeah, so we're going to see how this works out for Canada, right?
And his lawyer told him to stop talking. He said, "Stop talking, I'll kill you." Have you seen that footage, that clip, Terrence?
Right. How that hockey game
He was talking too much, and his lawyer told him to shut up. In so many words. He was doing too much talking. So whatever you're trying to tell me, please do more research on that one.
Right, moving in a different direction when it comes to leadership, and who knows, maybe some other things will fall into place. You will be able to actually outcompete us on some stuff, right? I'm just saying. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
No, switch it up. They want IDs to shovel snow.
Worse as the day goes on, high winds and low visibility are predicted to sock the area, making it nearly impossible to go anywhere. Noelle Lilly joins us live at the salt shed along the West Side Highway in Hell's Kitchen with
Good morning, Philly. Good morning.
to make sure it's ready. Noelle?
Alice Azizo, that's right. You can see that mountain of salt behind me. There's a truck there already geared up.
Subscribe, everybody. Subscribe. Good morning, good morning.
Fifth Street, ready to make sure city streets and sidewalks are clear and safe for you. Now, right now, it's already getting wet and slippery because it's been a bit of rainfall, just a drizzle right now. But that on top of the leftover snow that hasn't melted, the snow coming later, it is just going to leave a mess for people all across the 5 boroughs.
Our city will face its second snowstorm in less than a month and our first blizzard since 2016.
2026 has been off to a cold start for Mayor Mamdani and all of us here in New York City. The Office of Emergency Management says 700 salt spreaders and thousands of plows are already prepping for this Sunday storm.
This snowfall will melt, then refreeze, resulting in dangerously icy sidewalks and streets. I am asking all New Yorkers to stay inside and stay off the roads for your safety.
2,600 sanitation workers will begin 12-hour shifts this morning, and DSNY will deploy over 1,000 emergency snow shovelers starting tonight to get us off, hopefully, to an okay start for that Monday morning commute. Be sure to thank those essential workers if you see them hard at work today, and be patient in the aftermath of this storm in the days to come.
While
We got to talk about Zoran Mamdani because once again, he's finding himself in some hot water. Goodness gracious. I want to show you guys this clip first, actually, of Chuck Schumer and what he had to say about voter ID recently because it's quite interesting. I want you guys to check it out. All right? There's a reason why I'm showing you this. It's been clear. When we fight for democracy, when we protect democracy, we got to fight fire with fire. We're not going to stand idly by, as Maya said. We're not going to let them revert to Jim Crow. And if you don't think they want to revert to Jim Crow, just look what they did in the SAVE Act, which went back to Jim Crow for the whole nation by so making it hard.
I got my ID. I don't understand what Chuck is talking about. There's a video clip back in the day of Chuck advocating to have IDs. All of a sudden now, he got so woke, so progressive, he done lost his way. You gotta pray for this man. Because IDs are not racist. You need that for everything, period.
They said you need ID, and they made it so hard to show ID that probably half the people in America couldn't vote. We wouldn't let it pass. Democrats, our vote. They went to court. Many of us, Durbin, myself, and others, will beat plaintiffs and we beat them in court. But it shows why we need legislation. Because these guys are undoing everything. And
They're nodding her head. Why are you nodding your head? If they're lying.
They don't want people of color.
If they're fighting for the immigrants, that's all it is. Illegals, the undocumented, how you want to quote, that's BS.
They don't want
It does not hurt the women.
They don't believe in democracy. We do.
And democracy is not in the Constitution. That's crazy.
Is such a terrible thing. It's Jim Crow 2.0.
To have an ID. Wow.
My goodness. Now, in response to the heavy snow that is about to hit New York City, which is why I showed you that first news report, this is what Mamdani had to say at a press conference.
We're utilizing 33 DSNY vans and 2 DSNY buses to transport shovelers where they're needed faster. And for those who want to do more to help your neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow, and you can get started right away. And we're utilizing 33.
Show up with your paperwork.
Amazing.
What paperwork are you talking about, Mamdani?
But don't bring no ID to vote.
What do you mean by paperwork? Do you mean
That's crazy.
ID to shovel snow? No way, right? There's no way that's what that's.
You need ID to shovel snow, but you can't have ID to vote. That makes no sense.
Type of stuff. We got to show ID now to shovel. That's Jim Crow stuff right there. Gotta be. That's what Chuck Schumer said.
Zoran Mamdani did such a terrible job with his response to the last snowstorm in New York that to prepare for the one that's coming, he's begging New Yorkers to sign up to shovel snow.
We're utilizing 33 DSNY vans and 2 DSNY buses to transport shovelers where they're needed faster. And for those who want to
But Chuck Schumer said IDs are Jim Crow 2.0.
become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow, and you can get started right away.
Oh, and what paperwork is he talking about? You gotta have a couple of photos, 2 forms of ID, social security card. This is...
It's always related. You need an ID for everything. Jeeper, come on, stop playing around. Stop trolling. This is America. You need your ID for everything.
And you need to bring 2 forms of ID, not just 1, 2. So your ID and maybe your birth certificate or something, right?
Wow.
And you got to bring your social security card.
You need your ID. How is that more important than an election? We can vote some people in. They're supposed to help govern.
To sign up.
So that's crazy.
Well, I guess you know what that means.
You need your ID.
And anybody who's not white isn't going to be able to help. Because I have
You want somebody to keep voting more than one time? No way. Vote one time. That's it. IDs.
Yeah. Sounds like only white people are going to be able to shovel snow, man. White people are going to be the only ones that are able to figure it out. Poor people, black people. I mean, at least according to Chuck Schumer, he said poor people are going to be affected by voter ID, and black people are going to be affected by voter ID. So if that is the case,
that's what they keep saying. So what's going on? The hypocrisy. It's straight hypocrisy.
So you mean to tell me only white people can make money around here?
Amazing.
That's crazy. That's racist.
Subscribe. Good morning.
I get to tell you this right now. The jokes truly write themselves if you just sit back and watch. In a press conference this morning, the mayor of New York, Mayor Zoran Mamdani, said that they need New Yorkers to volunteer to shovel snow. We're expecting like a huge snowstorm again here on the East Coast. We just got rid of the last one. And he said that they were not able to recruit enough emergency workers during the last major snowstorm.
You must live in a blue state. You never asked for ID.
Volunteer snow shovelers.
Depending on what it is.
And all you need to do is show up to your local sanitization department between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. to register to do this. But here's the kicker. You need to bring ID. You need to bring ID. ID to vote in New York? No. You don't need an ID to vote, but an ID to shovel snow. You're gonna need your ID to shovel snow. That's what he said.
I'm so glad that people are like catching on to how silly this genuinely is. You know, you don't need an ID to vote, but you need an ID to shovel snow. And somehow, some way, it's racist to have an ID to vote, but it's not racist to require an ID to make some money. Okay.
So Mamdani, the mayor of New York, has came out asking for help from the citizens to shovel the snow. He's telling them to show up at the city and they'll all be able to work, and they need to bring their papers, which includes 2 forms of identification. This is the same guy who doesn't want to have identification to vote, though. Make it make sense. Make it make sense in this bizarro world where this guy, it hasn't even been a year, has it? And he's already mismanaged the budget to the point that he can't afford to clean the streets. Right?
Damn.
He doesn't. He doesn't think you should have ID to vote.
Silly, man. Absolutely silly. I mean, and there's more. I mean, people all across the internet are making fun of this guy right now because this makes absolutely zero sense. 0 cents.
This is already on track to be the worst mayor that New York City has ever seen. This dude is out here asking New Yorkers, yo, y'all want to shovel? We're about to get a storm. We might get more inches than the last one. So after completely messing up the last storm, man, with the way that he handled it, now he's asking New Yorkers to get up and go shovel. But that's not the funniest part of the situation. The funniest part of the situation is that this is one of those dudes, man, that's opposed to voter ID.
Good morning. Thanks for chiming in. Thank you, guys. Like and subscribe. Happy Monday. New York is tripping. Same thing in Chicago.
Right? Pictures of themselves.
About to lose the Bears.
But for voting, he's like, nah, we don't need that. That's hilarious. Bro, I've been in New York City since 98, man. I have never heard a mayor say, yo, we need help with the snow. We need you to sign up to shovel snow. You know how many heart attacks can happen out here in New York City? Most of these New Yorkers ain't built for that. But how do y'all feel about the fact that this man opposes voter ID, but is requiring all these different types of proof of identification for you to help him shovel snow because he can't manage it all on his own? It's like he's running a scam. What do you do my social for? Shovel snow, bro? Pictures of me and my ID? Nah, man, that is...
And he made a great point. A lot of people have had heart attacks shoveling snow. You know, early in the morning, getting up, going out in the cold, shoveling snow, and, you know, that is true. Now, I want to play you guys Zoran Mamdani's response when confronted with how silly this actually is. Check it out.
There's been this controversy over the snow laborers and the sort of what some see as onerous need to have documentation. Can you just talk about if that's new and what you make of the controversy?
This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. And these are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many, it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm sure you expected that same type of answer. My goodness. You literally can't make this stuff up. No ID to vote, but you need an ID to go and shovel snow. Requiring an ID to vote is Jim Crow 2.0, aka racist, but requiring an ID in 2 pictures plus your social security card to shovel snow somehow isn't Jim Crow 2.0. It isn't racist.
Right, that's about voter integrity.
Interesting. Very.
Now, I want to change pace because we've got to talk about the New York City mayor.
Zoran Mamdani. Another normal day over in Mamdani land. Now, if you want help to shovel snow ahead of the winter storm, roll up, but the caveat is you're going to need multiple forms of ID for anyone who'd like to register. And here was Mamdani earlier.
We're utilizing 33 DSNY vans and 2 DSNY buses to
Amazing.
transport shovelers where they're needed.
Subscribe.
And for those who want to do more to help your neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow, and you can get started right away.
Terrific. So, Tudor, this is hilarious because he wants help with snow shoveling, but it's also going to take you hours to register in the process.
Hours to register,
The
dang.
interesting part is the man who does not want voter ID is going to require you to have 2 forms of ID. Not only 2 forms of ID, you also have to have copies of those IDs. You have to have tiny pictures of yourself. My gosh, how many people just have a 1.5-inch square picture of themselves? And you have to have your social security card, which I find fascinating.
GP missing the whole point of this whole video. They saying IDs are racist. Jim Crow 2.0.
The people
Democrat.
would ask people to bring an ID to vote, because to get an ID, you might have to make a copy of your marriage license or of your birth certificate. And there's not a Kinko's just anywhere. You can't just go anywhere and get a copy.
They saying Black Americans or brown Americans, whoever want to put it, minorities can't get IDs to work, to do anything. And that's bogus as hell.
They're going to do the jobs you don't want to do. Now they suddenly need a bunch of people to shovel snow. I'm guessing that you're not going to have all the marketing executives or the guys on Wall Street or the people walking out of television studios in New York City saying, you know what, we're going to do our part. We're going to fill out all this paperwork and we're going to shovel snow. It's probably going to be some of those people that they brought in and they said, we're going to give you housing and we're going to give you all this free stuff. They might want
free. Look at that free stuff.
They
really?
can't make money under Mamdani. They don't have a right to that job under Mamdani because they don't have an ID. How is this possible? I mean, this just proves that their theory that you should not have to have an ID to vote is totally bunk. These are the same people that require you to have an ID to buy alcohol, that require you to have an ID to go to the doctor's office, that require you to have an ID to get on an airplane. So as soon as he did this, every Republican looked at this and said, pass the SAVE Act right now. If you can honestly, I mean, we're talking about you have to come with your real ID. That's it. To vote, just bring your real ID, the same one you get on a plane with. If you want to shovel snow in New York, you better have like 5 different pieces of documentation to actually be able to get paid. And you know what? The left.
Right, it came to Illinois out here in Rockford. You know what I'm saying? I just walked in, me and my wife, and we told them my names and address, and then show no ID, went to go vote. That's crazy. No, I want to show my ID to vote. You know what I'm saying? Because that makes sense. I don't mind trying to vote more than one time, voter fraud. What happened to the voters' integrity? What happened to that? Nothing wrong with that. It's not Jim Crow 2.0. That's crazy. And if it was, the Democrat Party, they the one started it. Like and subscribe.
Just are saying, oh, it's a government job. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're going to require all this ID to work for the government, but nothing to hire the government. Doesn't matter. You can choose the government no matter what you are, but to get paid by the government, you're going to have to prove who you are. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just, again, it's just something out of Planet Mamdani land that doesn't make sense. I thought that everything was going to be free, firstly, free and easy under Mamdani, and yet it is 10 times harder. Another error by this mayor.
It's time for Lefty's Losing It, and he's back. Yes, we've brought you the mad hysterics of Robert De Niro before, and no amount of humiliation seems to be enough for this once great actor, turned into an utter idiotic joke who has spouted all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories. Remember when De Niro claimed that if Trump won a second term, he'd come after him and put him in prison?
Right.
Alas, he's free, and he's claimed
he had a large platform and ended up there sending people off.
vote in the midterms.
Robert De Niro still walking around free with no problem. Talking about he gonna get snatched up.
Never, ever leave the White House.
We have to make him leave.
Look at this.
He jokes now about nationalizing the elections. He's not joking. We've seen enough already.
Yeah.
And everybody's worried about it. But he means it.
So you don't think he leaves in 3
He
years?
ain't leaving. No way. We used to joke the first time they'd get him in the moving van and he'd be sitting in the back of the moving van. They'd just put him in whatever.
Like a fake desk in there.
In his desk and not leaving the White House desk. No, but he won't. He won't leave. Let's not kid ourselves. He will not leave. It's up to us to get rid of him.
Now, you would have seen the equally unhinged Nicole Wallace of MSNBC going along with this delusional fantasy. A sane host may question the veracity of some of those wild claims, but not our Nicole.
What does that mean then? Like, do you think that whatever election is had in the midterms won't be respected? Do you believe that?
He'll attempt that. We have to make sure that, like what he's trying now, that all the polling places have people that can come there safely. That might mean citizens on the other side. Whatever they try to do, citizens say, well, we're just here to watch them, watch you, watch everybody. So they walk in there and feel safe. And
Like
they can
peaceful,
vote.
organized
People, yeah.
The Best People with Nicole Wallace. She really called her podcast that. Guess it is shorter than the most mentally deranged fantasists with a tenuous grip on reality with Nicole Wallace. Now, this next clip is hilarious, unintentionally so. This scholar of the far right, as she calls herself, fled Trump's America for Canada.
Yeah.
But alas, it's not as she expected.
USA.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here. My partner and
Amazing.
I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans. But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled the United States. And that's not terribly much.
So this so-called scholar fled to Canada without doing any planning, any research. Just how thick does one have to be to first call leaving America fleeing the country, but then to go to an expensive country where you cannot legally work? Wonder why she didn't go down south to Mexico, a lot cheaper, but perhaps
Right, and closer.
being super white Canada. But the stupidity does not end there. Get ready to laugh.
In Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh.
Canada has rules for citizens
Wait.
and non-citizens. You're not entitled to essential services if you are not a Canadian. Gosh, when Trump talks about those sorts of policies, it's considered white supremacy and fascism.
Right. And go out there, start rioting and all that trash. Amazing.
And our idiot academic, of course, ends this video by begging for free stuff. So privileged.
Because there are 2 adults, a cat and a dog, we are looking for more than a room, but a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom for free or below market rates. And I know that's a huge ask, but that's what we need.
Now, talking about buyer's remorse, New Yorkers have that in spades after they elected a commie, Zoran Mamdani, as mayor, thinking they'd be getting cheaper groceries, cheaper rent, free bus trips. Remember the celebrations? They were so happy.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zoran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York, starts today, baby.
God, there is just something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight.
Yes, Sharia now, but instead of free stuff, they have rubbish-strewn streets, people
Right.
dying of hypothermia, and soon higher taxes. They thought only the richest of the rich would be hit with higher taxes. Wrong, dead wrong, and now the regret is real.
The mayor, the greatest respect. In every campaign speech, in every debate, where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
There's only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Here's Mondani, you are out your goddamn mind.
Joining me now is Newsweek's senior editor-at-large, Josh Hammer. Josh, we will get to what looks to be a possible assassination attempt at Mar-a-Lago later, but first, tell me about Mayor Mamdani's first 50 or so days in office.
Well, Rita, there's an old quote from H.L. Mencken, one of my favorite quotes in all of American politics, actually. He's a 20th century newspaper columnist and social critic. And about a century or so ago, in the early 20th century, he famously said that democracy is the theory that the common man knows what he wants and he deserves to get it good and hard. And that is exactly what is happening in New York City. They are getting it really good and really hard. Actually, in fact, not to make this too personal, I was actually set to fly to New York City for a speaking event, but there was a terrible blizzard happening there now, and partially.
What up, Chi-Town? DC Chi-Town, what's up?
Infrastructure is, and the complete inability.
I'm from Chicago. I live in Rockford now. 43.
Into this Monday.
What up?
Early this week here in New York, because the roads are expected to just be completely covered with snow. Back in the day, I grew up in New York.
We might lose the Bears, man. Dongon Mayor Johnson and Dongon Pritzker.
For having the most systemic and efficient and effective snow plowing and snow shoveling in the world. I saw earlier today over here back in the U.S.
Danielle, good morning.
New York City comptroller put out an all hands on deck, a signal blast to the world. Come sign up to be a volunteer snow shoveler for $19 and change an hour. Which, by the way, I should note, isn't Mamdani the guy who literally campaigned on a $30 minimum wage? So what, you're trying to give $30 minimum wage to someone trying to fry your french fries at McDonald's or be an Uber driver?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
People like me are not coming because we expect it to be a horrific zombie apocalypse during a snowstorm, and you're offering to pay like less than half of the wage. I mean, square that circle for me. So it's absolutely appalling there. The only thing that I can possibly say, Rita, is that it's good that you have a lot of Democrats, especially in the state capital, Albany.
I did a video reaction to that other day. As you can see, I did a video reaction to it. Check it out.
Say no. So New York City actually very well might find itself on its own.
Like and subscribe.
New York would be a really, really fascinating development.
Well, I love this call for the snow shovelers to come forward, but you do need your ID, Josh. You don't need ID to vote, but you need ID if you want to shovel snow in New York City. And the budget that Mamdani is delivering is bigger than Florida, the entire state of Florida. I mean, let's just see where some of this money is going, some of this largesse. 5.6 million.
As you can see, Blackhawks, the Blackhawks, all the Cubs, Chicago, baby.
And just a lazy $835,000 for the Commission on Gender Equity.
Yeah, you see it. They plan. Yeah, of course. There's money involved. Follow the money.
I mean, can they really plead
politics and money go hand in hand, like 6, 7. You know.
was, and they backed him.
So I'm glad that you flagged the budgetary metrics because it's actually quite revealing. This is actually one of the reasons that there is this newfound tension between the city of New York and the state of New York, represented by Kathy Hochul and her Democratic legislative allies in Albany. So the New York City municipal budget last year was quote unquote only.
Yeah, I worked on the west side of Chicago. I was a barber, security, a bartender.
As the entire budget of my current state.
Madison and Laramie, Division in Austin.
Left over because Ron DeSantis just totally kicks butt.
Weston and Roosevelt.
Governed really, really well. So
what's that? 47th and Vincennes on the south side.
Last fiscal year, just to this year, and that's apparently that $10 billion and his inability to close that gap. That is why he is saying to his fellow Democrats in Albany, you guys better soak the rich or else ... I'm going to soak the middle and working class.
Subscribe. Good morning.
You know, you didn't have to raise the municipal budget by $10 billion. You could have left it. It was pretty bloated. I mean, I would like to have a conversation. I see a conversation begin about trimming the budget. I mean, how about that for a wild thing? You know, let's get Elon Musk and some mini Doge team there, you know, in City Hall in New York City there. But at bare minimum, bro, at a bare minimum, can you not inflate plate on top of a municipal budget that's literally the exact same size as the nation's third largest state, the very free state of Florida.
Thank you.
It's totally astounding. But again, this is what New Yorkers apparently want there.
Oh, okay,
I find
bet.
it positively horrifying, frankly. But
40 years,
it's what they wanted,
blessings.
and they're getting it.
That's it. Elections have consequences, and New Yorkers are feeling those consequences right now. Now, let's talk about what happened in Palm Beach, Florida, at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago property earlier today, where a man in his early 20s was shot and killed by Secret Service agents in the early hours of the morning. Is this being treated as an assassination attempt, Josh?
So it's very early, and we don't necessarily have, there was not like a big FBI press conference or anything like that, so we'll probably learn more exactly as to how law enforcement is going to treat this in the days to come. It certainly looks to me like this man had every intention of trying to assassinate Donald Trump and his wife, Melania Trump. I believe he actually drove down
Amazing.
from North Carolina. Turns out that Donald Trump was actually not even at Mar-a-Lago. He was in Washington, D.C. at that time there. The details of the story are such that he had a shotgun and a barrel of gasoline. One can only speculate as to why he would have a personal tank of gasoline with him there, trying to get onto the premises of Mar-a-Lago. And apparently when law enforcement saw his weapon and said, drop it, and he kept on raising it, that's when he was fatally shot. These people are invariably mentally ill. Think back to Ryan Routh, who was the man, I believe also who was last seen actually living in North Carolina, who came down to West Palm Beach, Florida, and tried to assassinate Donald Trump playing on the Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach back in September 2024. This guy was lunatic off his rockers. He was basically a Reddit comment section come to life. He was spouting off all these platitudes. The question, Rita, is where are these people getting riled up? Who were they listening to? How are they being radicalized to try to take down Donald Trump, try to, tragically in this case successfully, assassinate my late friend Charlie Kirk? Who is inspiring these people who are already vulnerable, already frankly deeply unstable, and probably just mentally unwell? Who is taking advantage of these vulnerable people and then trying to instigate them to attack acts or to commit acts of violence? And frankly, that is a very grave question and has a very, very straightforward answer, which is it is elected Democrats, whether it's Tim Walz and Jacob Fry in the state of Minnesota, trying to kind of borrow the Hamas playbook from the Middle East, trying to get these people to sacrifice themselves in an act of martyrdom for the sake of winning the public relations war. That's what we saw happen with Renee Good and with Alex Preddy there in Minnesota there. Here, we don't know exactly who it is, but I can certainly speculate. I think back to the shooter in 2017 who shot up half the Republican congressional baseball team. That guy, James Hodgkinson was his name, was a dyed-in-the-wool MSNBC viewer. Sometimes, Rita, it's really actually as simple as that. They are trying to get these people to commit terrible, terrible things.
Well,
right, they definitely fed up.
Endless narrative of we're living
Check that
under
out.
a fascist regime and everyone's rights are in jeopardy, and Trump is the new age Hitler, then it's not surprising that
Amazing, ain't it?
people may take it upon
Isn't
themselves
it?
to do something about that. And I've got to say, talk about mentally ill people online, the comments I've seen on pieces about
We got to pray for these people, y'all. Pray for them.
but sadly not all that surprising. People saying at least he had a go, he had the right idea, hope the next one can follow through. That sort of commentary it seems to be just so prevalent and so normalized among the left. The left has a problem with political violence. We've seen it over and over again, and it's something that is not widely acknowledged, certainly in the media, Josh.
This is the issue that will tear America apart. I'm really not exaggerating when I say that. If there is any issue that genuinely will take this country down, and I mean that very, very sincerely. Look, Abraham Lincoln, my favorite hero in American history, he gave a very famous speech in 1838 called the Lyceum Address in Springfield, Illinois. He was actually only 29 years old at the time, I believe, 20 or 29. And he famously said that America would never be destroyed from beyond, from without, that she would only be destroyed from within and would come essentially at our own hands. Now, tragically, Lincoln actually was quite prescient. He, of course, led the country through the Civil War, where we came perilously close to doing exactly that. But now here we are, over a century and a half after the Civil War, and for many people, overwhelmingly, as you correctly note, on the political left, they have made a decision where they are not content to simply let our political disagreements be hashed out in the marketplace of ideas. They will not be settled at the ballot box. And the day that more and more people finally decide to ditch the ballot box once and for all and to take up knives and firearms, and God forbid something even worse than that in its place there, that really is the day that the American Republic becomes perilously close to just dying off there. Famously, this country was made as a republic if you can keep it, is what Benjamin Franklin said back in 1787 to a curious onlooker there in the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. And it really is up to us to keep this republic there, and political violence could easily be the death knell of this country, I fear.
Now to the Supreme Court decision on
Man, he said a lot.
Tariffs. Tell me about this decision. The court was split 6-3, and Justice Kavanaugh wrote a very interesting dissent. Explain this ruling to my audience, Josh, and what you expect to see happening next.
So the first thing to know is just kind of before we get into legal weeds is it's going to be a total mess if the government actually has to start offering refunds for the dozens, hundreds, I think it's roughly $175 billion in tariff revenue that they have already corrected through these reciprocal tariffs, which have been implemented through this late 1970s statute, the IEEPA, the International Economic
Thank you.
Powers Act.
Let's grow together. Let's do it.
Legal argument here is that this statute that passed during the Jimmy Carter presidency a little over a half century ago, give or take, was it allows the president, Congress delegates to the president the ability to regulate importation when there is an economic emergency. Donald Trump, because of his theory on trade, he cares a lot about the balance of trade, he cares a lot about the fact that America has been ripped off by the globalist class for a long time there, viewed our massive trade deficits as an economic emergency. And he therefore invoked this statute to impose these tariffs. On the other side, you have the basic constitutional baseline that says that Congress shall have the ability to impose duties, so tariffs and things like that. So the basic legal question is, did this statute carve out a dispensation from
The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, seems to disagree with many Black residents of the city when it comes to the negative impact that the migrant crisis has had on them and the entire city as a whole. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, apparently disagreeing with many Black Americans.
Again, both him and Zoran Mamdani both said they're not going to raise no property taxes, going to keep it down. So they both get into office. What happened? Property taxes go up. Now people are moving out. We might lose the Bears here in Chicago. Stop voting blue no matter who you guys. Do y'all research on these people? Everybody voted for Brandon Johnson because he's Black. But at the same time, the man don't even care. He don't care about Chicago. There's no way the Bears should be talking about going to Indiana. And Indiana tomorrow giving them guys the red carpet treatment. So it might happen. We'll see. Like and subscribe, and let's continue. Vote for common sense.
As it relates to what the migrant crisis has done to them in the city of Chicago,
MAGA.
And not just the Black residents, but the entire city. He seems to think that it's not really a big deal. They've not really harmed us. They've not really done anything to us. And when I say us, I mean Black Americans. Although I'm not a Chicago resident, I empathize with what they're going through, because what they're going through in Chicago is being felt all over the country. And it was most certainly felt during the Biden administration. This is why when Trump was running again the third time, I said my chief issue, the chief problem with the country was the migrant crisis. And I think a lot of American citizens would agree with me, except for Brandon Johnson. Now, before I go any further, let's get into this video from a Chicago resident. And I think all of what she says, many of us believe as well. If you want to see this video in full, I'll link to it in the description box. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I really thought when ICE came to Chicago, we was gonna cut up how LA did, or how Minneapolis did. But y'all wanna know the reason why I feel like Chicago didn't cut up like that?
Now she's gonna say some things you might not understand. Some of y'all, she's saying cut up. She's like saying go out in the street, act a fool. You know, let's keep on going.
And I'm choosing to do one of my political science papers on this for South America, and I'm gonna do it on the mass migration of Venezuelans to Chicago. I feel like that migration desensitized like the city.
Yeah, they like, you know what? They getting money, cars, and housing. And Chicago couldn't get it. Yeah, get them out of here. Yeah, Chicago with it. Get them out of here. That's what Chicago was on.
When I say it was such a big difference from what they observed before they came, and when they came, they come in at $3,000-$4,000 for a week. And, cash aid.
But y'all voted for that.
Meanwhile, real citizens who pay taxes was sitting there damn near begging for $100 a month. And like,
let's pause. So, Venezuelan migrants getting $3,000 and $4,000 on their link card, some kind of benefits card, right? $3,000 and $4,000, they're getting it, no problem. You are a Chicago citizen, a natural-born American citizen. You get $100 or nothing. Is that fair? I don't think so, but I digress.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Go Bears.
Y'all know black people talk shit, so everybody pay off this because it's two separate lines for immigrants and citizens. Because it's like $1 million in the gas and outside.
Yeah, Chicago pissed off. Get them out of here.
Black people know this. And they're like, all these motherfuckers, they get
It's already crowded in Chicago when it comes to DMV already, especially after COVID.
So everybody know or knew what the Venezuela was going on. Everybody was getting enraged by it. Like,
Yep.
Nobody was like, oh yeah,
Subscribe.
They need to be here with us, be helping them with essential shit. They was thinking, okay, we get it, y'all got a fucked up country, but y'all looking up our city. So shit, like, they just didn't care. And again, like I said, they was supplying these Venezuelans and everything. These motherfuckers had cars and all. They was fucking people cars up. They kept getting accidents. Today you can't even communicate in English with these motherfuckers to get their insurance or shit.
So they're getting cars, crashing the cars,
Facts.
English, getting all these benefits. The residents, the natural-born citizen.
That's crazy. And when they did come to Chicago, right there on Madison and like Laramie area, they had all the immigrants right there in the police station, right in front of it, sleep right in front of it. They 10 garbage bags, all type of crazy shit, right in front of the police station. I'm like, come on, y'all. Matter of fact, Madison and Menard. Anybody from Chicago, Madison and Menard, the police station right there. Not just that one, it's all of them in Chicago. All the Venezuelans all sleep right in front of the police station. It was not cool. It was embarrassing, and they stank. Amazing.
These people that's been in Chicago forever, the Americans are like, how are they able to do all this stuff? And it's not really a big deal. We do a fraction of that, they're gonna throw us in the penitentiary.
Because they don't speak English. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That time, around that time, a year or two ago, for those 2 years, it was bad. I really feel like that made Chicago people not give a fuck about it. And I wish the shit ain't play out like that because I really do feel like if we understood what their country looked like, we understand why we a sanctuary city to begin with. And another thing they were doing, they was coming over here with fucking ankle monitors and shit on. Like, you know how hard it is as a citizen to see somebody getting $1,000 and paid
With ankle monitors on.
and they're not even a citizen. And they got the nerve to have on house arrest ban. So you clearly a criminal. And regular American citizens can't get these same benefits that they ask for 10 times less than what you get. I think that's why we get cut up. For the immigrants, there must be immigrants. I start coming here and fucking shit up.
You know, when you're talking about cutting up for the immigrants and basically doing the whole Minneapolis thing, the Alex Preddy thing, getting yourself deleted because you're trying to fight ICE agents to prevent them from deporting people. The reason Chicago residents didn't do that is because they wanted them
To go.
be out of there.
Get out of
Also,
here.
a lot of the people in other parts of the country were cutting up in the streets, acting up in the streets because they were being paid to do so. Well, we see where the money went in Chicago. It went straight to the illegal aliens, not to the citizens.
At that point, we just desensitized immigrants completely, and that's fucked up even more. Okay? But I'm not gonna lie, the way Chicago handled being a sanctuary city for them was also fucked up. Y'all got started in Chicago. Y'all got home in Chicago. So why the fuck are y'all clearing out vacant buildings for Venezuelans? But, all right.
All right, there we go. So basically, what I heard from that, and that was great, by the way. Shout out to her. I don't know her name or anything. If you guys know it, y'all let me know. But what she's saying is, look, we, the Chicago residents, don't care about these illegal aliens because We got our own problems. They come in here starting problems and getting paid to do it. And it's obvious that they're starting problems, or they are problems in general, because a lot of them got ankle monitors on. Like, you already see that they're criminal people. And I'm not just speaking about Venezuelans in general. I'm speaking about the criminal aliens. I don't care where you came from. But with Chicago specifically, a lot of Venezuelan people went there. Now, let's go to what Brandon Johnson said, because I think he does not really agree with the young lady that just spoke. Let's check it out.
A migrant has never done anything to disrupt the progress of black people. And I will be doggone if I will allow white supremacy to separate black people.
She was black when she said.
Because it was black businesses that fed migrants. It was black businesses that provided hope and aspirations for the people who have been marginalized across this globe. We also have to be very clear that the injustices that we feel within the black community are real. The history of this city of closing black schools, disrupting health clinics from black communities, shutting down housing for black people, firing black people from public sector positions. Understand that our fight for justice is not over. I'm old enough to remember where black people understand our global connection one to another, that what happens in South Africa and Soweto is not that much different than what happens in Cabrini Green on the north side of Chicago.
What the
favelas in Brazil.
This Pan-African type of talk is kind of retarded, because if you got gangs in Chicago that can't get along with each other, then how are you going to make it be a thing where we all get along in other parts of the world with different languages, cultures, religions, customs, history? I don't really understand that kind of talk.
Don't either.
Let's focus on getting along where we are first and then branch out. But until then, this is just kind of, silly talk.
That we're all interconnected, that somehow just because a ship made it a little bit further across the coast, I'm not going to allow the constant separation to continue to divide us.
This guy's
because
crazy.
they've already done that. And it's important that in this moment that we reconnect ourselves.
Subscribe.
Do you know in 2015, 1 in 10 black folks in this country were foreign born? If we allow blackness to be separated, liberation is not possible. We have to build a resistance in this country through the lens of black liberation that guarantees equal access to affordable housing. We have.
Here you go.
Oh, Brandon Johnson, equal access to affordable housing. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because this is kind of really ironic here. There was an ICE operation in Chicago. What was that, last year or 24? Somebody in the comments, please give me some correction on that. But there was an ICE operation on an apartment complex, and one of the buildings of the complex was supposed to be abandoned. No one should have been in there.
Period.
What happened was Venezuelan illegal aliens took it over, and ICE came to get them and get them out. Now, during the raid, I think there were a couple of American citizens who were briefly
Right, they got detained.
They were not deported. They were not locked up, but they were just trespassing in the building with the other Venezuelans. It was 98.9% Venezuelan and like 2 Americans. Since you complain about the Americans who were briefly detained and released because of the deportation for the Venezuelan migrants, that was a targeted operation. If you complained about that, if you did complain about it, then how are you going to sit here and talk about affordable housing? I don't understand.
To build a movement that ensures that every single child has access to a high quality public education.
Public education. I'm sorry for the pausing, but I got to pause it here. Public education. Okay, when you dump thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of migrants into one area, who's going to educate them? Who's going to provide them services? How much is it going to cost? The taxpayer of Chicago is being burdened with the expense of the migrant crisis. You should be against migrants coming because of what they have done to your city. That's going to impact jobs, education, housing, everything. You should be on our side with the way you're talking, but a lot of this rhetoric is just empty. Just for the video, okay? You got your little logo right there. It's just for the video. It's not really serious talk, in my humble opinion, but I digress.
good paying jobs, access to transportation, healthcare. That is the work that we have to do. That's the way in which we can honor the essence of Black history. So God bless you all, and God bless the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago.
All right, there we go. So that is Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. What he said is a tad bit different than the Black Chicago resident that we heard from earlier. Now, before I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the natural-born citizens of this country in Chicago, New York, LA, etc.
Chi-town, baby.
Do not want the migrants here. If you want to come here legally as an immigrant, a visa, student visa, green card, whatever, it's totally fine. You're following the law. But when you come here illegally, I don't have nothing for you.
Right.
All I got for you is the phone number to call ICE, 1-888-DH2-ICE. That's all I got. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Brandon Johnson's take on the migrant crisis and how nobody...
That guy is bogus.
John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John there, and this is the worst decision you ever have in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right, John.
This.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Democratic caller.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court, and Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
low IQ? Well, why wouldn't he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
Boy. So we got to talk about this pretty heated interview between Shannon Bream of Fox News, who's actually a legit journalist, right? One of the few legit journalists left in the news media, right? Who is very straight down the middle, right? Very neutral. And Hakeem Jeffries, who is probably the biggest gaslighter in the Democrat Party, right? The leader of the failing Democrat Party, woke as hell, T-Mobile Obama, discount Obama, dollar store Obama, Walmart Obama, right? This guy's a disgrace. He really is. Okay, and part of the reason why he's a disgrace is because he's not an honest actor. Like, for example, when it comes to being confronted about the economy, Hakeem Jeffries refuses to acknowledge the fact that the inflation that we're currently experiencing today is just residuals of the inflation that happened under the Biden administration and the Democrats when they were in power. But back then, Hakeem Jeffries was singing a different tune when it comes to inflation.
Subscribe, everybody. Thank you.
High, at least recent
Happy Monday.
Historically speaking, take a look.
Let's work together. Following the leadership of President Joe Biden, whose record continues to move things in an incredibly positive direction for the American people. Wages are up. Inflation is down. The high cost of living in the United States of America. It's a challenge that we need to tackle. They promised that costs would go down on day one, that they would address inflation. Costs haven't gone down. They're going up. Inflation is going up. And a lot of it has to do with Trump's reckless mismanagement of the economy.
Fair to say, looking at the data, that huge spikes in things like grocery prices and other things happened under the Biden administration. I mean, near record levels of inflation at 9%. That's not going to change overnight. But if it's now nearing 2% and rent prices have cooled, gas prices are down, those things have happened. I mean, you can't change all of that overnight. Do you not acknowledge that a lot of that happened under the last administration?
We're focused right now on the here and now. In terms of what the American people are confronting. This is 2026. Listen, the president himself is the one who said that costs were going to go down on day one.
And many counts they have.
That's not the standard that we as Democrats set. That's the standard that the president set.
Yeah. So, again, you have Hakeem Jeffries, who back in 2022, at the height of the inflation, we're talking about 9%, okay? And that's just the government numbers. Who knows? Maybe it got higher than that. But he was talking about wages are up. Inflation down, right? Biden's doing great things. Now, fast forward 4 years.
Good morning. Good morning.
Inflation, at least according to
Good morning, everybody.
are the lowest that they've been
RLS.
in 4 years, right? In a long time, 2.4%. Okay, and all of a sudden he is concerned about inflation. Inflation is out of control, according to him. Okay, it really shows you that again, these people are not honest actors, right? They're just playing politics, and when it comes to politics, facts and reality don't really matter, right? So with that being said, that's why I think that this interview was fascinating because Green is
Subscribe. Thank you.
Gaslighting here from Hakeem Jeffries. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about the Supreme Court case because you celebrated it on Friday, as many Democrats did. You have been very critical of the Supreme Court, has had many Democrats calling them corrupt, saying they're in the pocket of President Trump, saying they need to be term limited, the court needs to be expanded. After the decision on Friday, which included a couple of the president's own nominees voting against him and the arguments he was making, are Democrats now prepared to say that the court is neutral, it's independent, and you'll stop talk of packing or term limiting the court?
I've strongly
greetings. That's what's up, Deontay.
Court decisions in the past, and will continue to do
Rockford,
so.
Illinois.
However, the Supreme Court in this instance did the right thing.
Thanks for joining in.
In terms of packing the court, that's not a discussion that we've engaged in. As Democrats, we've made clear to the American people. Well, we've made clear, and I certainly made clear, that we're focused on trying to do three things at this moment. Lower the high cost of living, fix our broken healthcare system. We can begin by extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that tens of millions of hardworking American taxpayers don't experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles throughout the year. And of course, we also need to get ICE under control and deliver immigration enforcement in this country.
It's your fault.
That's just
the illegals coming in.
So
20 million of them
aren't being used to actually kill American citizens. Like Renee Nicole Good.
So let's unpack.
Yeah, tax dollars are not being used to kill American citizens, right? These individuals, these liberals who won Darn Awards, they got themselves killed, to be honest with you, right? So, I mean, I don't know what Hakeem Jeffries is talking about.
Right.
But he also claims that Democrats are not advocating to pack the court, which we all know is a lie.
And 56 up under Obama.
It's not so radical to suggest a different makeup of the Supreme Court. By the way, you know what article of the Constitution says that there are 9 Supreme Court justices? Trick question, it's not in there.
I still strongly support expanding the court. I also support term limits on the court and an enforceable code of ethics. We see such unrepresentative decisions coming out of that court. And in order to rebalance the court, we have to unstack the court, and that means expanding it. Otherwise, a whole generation of Americans is going to have to be saddled with this reactionary and partisan court.
I will say that I am interested in having that conversation, and I'm open to this conversation about extending the number of people on the United States Supreme Court, about increasing the number of people on the United States Supreme Court. So
I think the Supreme Court is a broken institution. We cannot leave in place without a discussion, at least, and I think without substantive reforms being put in place. This Supreme Court as it is presently constituted. If there is a Democratic trifecta in 2028, Supreme Court reform is something that has to be considered. Potentially expanding the court is something I think that also should be considered.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand, this is not a fringe thing from the Democrat Party, right? Shannon Breed was not nitpicking something that one fringe far-left Democrat said and trying to put it on the Democrat Party as a whole. Packing the court is a mainstream conversation. Adam Schiff, Kamala Harris, you have Pete Buttigieg. These are all prominent Democrats who've all openly discussed packing the Supreme Court, aka putting more liberal justices on the Supreme Court, because Democrats know that a lot of their agenda is unconstitutional, right? Let's keep it 100. With the way that the court currently is, with conservatives, right, being a majority, they know that a lot of their stuff, like student loan debt,
I love being American.
Right? They're not going to be able to get it past the conservative court. So in order to get around that, they want to pack the court, right? And this is part of the reason why I am warning people about putting Democrats back in power, is because once they're back in power, they're not going to let it go, right? They're going to do everything that they've been promising the far left that they're going to do. They're going to abolish ICE. They're going to open up the borders wide open. They're going to pack the court. They're going to make sure that they can never lose another election again, right? And they're going to say that our excuse for doing this is that we don't ever want Trump to happen again, right? We don't ever want to let somebody like Trump get power and control again. So therefore, we must rig the whole system in our favor so that Trump can never take office again, right? This is what they're going to say. I'm telling you. Is coming, right? And Hakeem Jeffries here, right? He may not be able to give a straight answer on the Democrat position of packing court, but the reason why he can't give an answer is because that's what they want to do, right? That's exactly.
Tech support. Good morning.
First of all, about the ACA subsidies, that was the last time you were here. We were talking about the shutdown that lasted 43 days, had an enormous impact on the economy, and a lot of people who missed a lot of paychecks. And yet Democrats who held the votes necessary to move things forward ultimately moved forward without a change to the ACA subsidies. We come to find out 90 to 93% of people who are on these ACA marketplaces are getting federal subsidies, meaning other taxpayers are paying into that. That doesn't sound affordable. So what about the promise of the Affordable Care Act that we're now still fighting about these subsidies because it is so difficult to be paid for?
Well, listen, we have a broken healthcare system and we need to fix it in a comprehensive way. Ideally, we should fix it.
Hilarious, because I thought that the ACA was supposed to do that, right? The Affordable Health Care Act was supposed to make healthcare affordable. The real question should be, why hasn't the Affordable Care Act made healthcare affordable, right? Why does healthcare costs continue to go up with the Affordable Care Act, right, in place? Well, again, the reason why is because you're subsidizing people, okay, who aren't paying that much into the system to get healthcare, right? And when you subsidize people, when you subsidize insurance companies directly, they have no incentive to lower costs, right? You just increase demand without dealing with an increase of supply, and that is what leads to costs continuing to go up, right? Healthcare is overregulated, and there's too much government money being spent on healthcare, and that's what's driving up costs. And Democrats just want to continue to kick the can down the road, right, until the system becomes so bad that people sign up for universal socialized healthcare, which is what the Democrat Party actually wants, right?
We all good in USA. We good.
But they have to destroy things and to make healthcare so unaffordable in order to get there, right? That's the goal.
In a bipartisan way. Part of the challenge that we've confronted during this administration is the one big ugly bill enacted the largest
big beautiful bill
in American history. As a result of that policy, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics are closing all throughout the country, including in rural America. People
thank you.
Struggling.
Thank you. Let's grow together. Thank you. Name is Deontay. Thank you.
Tax credits to impact everyone in blue states, in purple states, and in red states. In fact, in Republican-controlled states, people who have lost their Affordable Care Act tax credits are suffering the most. We're talking about states like Wyoming or West Virginia, Alaska, South Carolina, Texas. These are states where people are struggling. So we're trying to resolve this issue on behalf of everyone.
Okay, so to the issue of those cuts, you know that a lot of that has to do with either waste-bound abuse or it has to do with eligibility and making sure that those benefits are there for people who actually need them, not able-bodied adults or those who are choosing not to work as part of the system. And there is money in there for those hospitals. They can reopen under an emergency basis. The money is there to help them move forward. So all of that was part of the One Big Beautiful Bill too. But where we get to now is ICE. You know it's funded. Why shut down the government? We get new information this morning that TSA pre-check is going away. Global entry is going away. You know, there's real worry now. TSA and FEMA are not going to get paid. There's a winter storm coming to your northeastern location there. Why take away funding from FEMA, from TSA, the Coast Guard, and others when ICE is fully funded? Why not reopen the government?
Well, let's remember, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. To the extent there is ever a shutdown, as was the case with the 43-day
But you know they cannot move forward out of a shutdown without Democrat votes. They can't do it. You guys have got to vote with them.
So let's talk. Okay, so let's talk about that. Our basic value proposition is that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not to brutalize or kill them, as was done with an ICU
You're not going to shut down ICE
Alex
as part of this shutdown. And those are tragic cases that are being investigated and must be. We need answers on that. But
I'm happy to
ICE is not going to shut down.
I'm happy to respond if you give me the opportunity to respond.
You're not really saying nothing, right? You're gaslighting. Okay, she's pointing out that the shutdown of DHS has nothing to do with the funding of ICE. So claiming that it's about funding ICE is dishonest, right? It's just a lie. It's not about funding ICE. It's about virtue signaling. Because
Amazing.
want to appear as if they are fighting Trump, right? That they're doing something about ICE when there's nothing they can really do about the ICE funding. Ultimately, again, they are literally just causing government workers to miss paychecks just for the sake of virtue signaling, right? And then they're turning around and pointing a finger at Republicans and blaming them over votes that Democrats refuse to give to open up the government. This is the second time they pulled this stunt. This is the second time they've done this, right?
And people keep on voting for blue.
Literally not
out of panicking.
open up the government, right? They will not vote for a clean, continual resolution to just keep the government funding as is. And then they'll point the finger at Republicans and say, well, see, it's their fault that the government is closed down, right? It's their fault. Because
Amazing.
they don't want to capitulate to our demands.
Thank you.
Don't have anything to do with the institution that you're shutting down, right? Like ICE funding has nothing to do with the Department of Homeland Security and the funding that they're fighting about right now, right? Those are two separate things. But Democrats will try to make them the same thing when they're not, and then shut down the government and then point the finger at Republicans and say they're shutting down the government because they believe that the American people are stupid, right? Democrats thrive based off what they believe to be.
They thrive off fear.
The American people. And it's really offensive, right? Like people should be offended by how Democrats try to appeal to people. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Look at the issue of voter ID. Their whole thing is, well, it's racist. Women won't be able to vote, right? It's sexist. Basically what they're saying is that, well, women and blacks and minorities, they're too dumb. They're too dumb to get the proper paperwork in order to vote, right? They never say this stuff about affluent white people, right? They never talk about how this could be a problem for affluent white folks. Why is that? Why is that? It's because, again, they think that so-called minorities are stupid. This is why they always use minorities as an excuse for opposing voter ID, even though a vast majority of American people, including Democrats, agree with it. But Democrats don't want voter ID because they literally want stupid people to vote, right? That's the whole point. They know that voter ID is an IQ test. It really is. If you are an American citizen and you can't figure out how to get an ID, right, in order to vote, then you probably shouldn't be voting. And Democrats know that, right? Which is why they don't want any voter ID.
Respond. So we believe that this moment should be used to make dramatic changes to ICE that are bold, that are transformational, and that are meaningful, that include lifting up the Fourth Amendment and ensuring that judicial warrants are actually required before ICE agents can break into the homes of the American people. We believe there should be independent investigation so that if ICE breaks the law, state and local authorities can investigate and
Stop allowing immigrants to come in the way they come in. What if they have this problem? Open the border wide open.
We believe that sensitive locations like houses of worship, like hospitals, like schools, and like polling sites should be protected. These are basic
polling sites.
Uh-oh.
Polling sites. Fascinating. So ICE should not be able to pull up to polling sites. Why would Democrats not want ICE at polling sites?
Right.
If legal immigrants aren't voting, why wouldn't you want ICE?
Salty, good morning.
Listen to these people. Listen to them. If you read between the lines,
right,
they're telling you everything that you need to know. Every right-wing conspiracy theory, right? Democrats confirm just by listening to them.
The more they talk.
You don't want ICE at polling sites. Fascinating. Fascinating admission there, Hakeem Jeffries.
Common sense demands that have been laid out. And unfortunately, rather than dramatically reform ICE, the administration has decided to shut down FEMA, shut down the TSA, and shut down the Coast Guard.
They will say your votes are doing that. And, there's a lot of debate in there. We hope you find some common ground because there are some things there. It sounds like Republicans agree with
this
you
is
on
crazy.
as well, and the American people too.
Subscribe, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Name is Deontay.
Yeah, body cams, I think that's about it. Everything else is kind of BS, to be honest with you. I think that ultimately, hopefully, people can see through this, right, and see that Democrats are
a live stream Monday through Thursday.
Okay. A lot of these demands are unreasonable, right? Like you can't have places that are quote unquote off limits for ICE. Basically, what you're saying is that, well, if we're going to make places off limits, then that gives illegals a place to hide, right? Especially criminals, right? If criminals want a place to hide, hey, I'm going to go to a polling site, for example, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. These are non-starters, right? These are not serious negotiations. This is grandstanding for the sake of grandstanding. And they're trying to basically appeal to the far left who wants people like Hakeem Jeffries to promise to abolish ICE, which is becoming a mainstream position within the Democrat Party, right? Just look at what they're doing at the state level.
Right. They ain't trying to protect the Americans. They offer the illegals.
Okay.
American first. What's wrong with that?
Criminals being arrested by local sheriffs, and they're
because
saying, hey, come deport this guy. Democrats are
he
like,
just explained it to you.
Right? Catch and release the criminals back.
He said, why does immigration?
And they want you to believe that they're reasonable on this issue, right? They're not. They're not. The Democrat Party, especially this guy, they're captured by the far left. They're captured by the far left. And when you understand that, that's when you understand that it's not an option. Like we cannot let these people, especially in 2028, get back in power. We just can't do it. They're going to pack the court. They're going to reignite inflation. They're going to open the borders wide open. They're not going to deport anybody. Wokeness is coming back. They're going to be using the government against Christians, right? Just for protesting against abortions, okay? They're going to be censoring conservatives. They're going to be censoring social media once again. I'm telling you, all this stuff is going to come out. Everything that happened under Joe Biden is going to happen again on steroids, right? If Democrats take back power and control. I'm telling you. And the reason why I know this is because Hakeem Jeffries refuses to stand up against the far left and their agendas, which means that ultimately he's going to do exactly what they want, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day.
Boy, I got to tell you, when your allied network CNN starts to eviscerate your policies and just can't help but tell the truth about how despicable you are, I just wonder, could the Hippocrats, could the Democrats
Bud Russell, good morning.
To what I am calling the only voice of reason, besides John Fetterman, even though I think he's been excommunicated, that I've heard come out of this party. There's no way in a million years you will ever convince me that Fareed Zakaria, whether it's known or not known, is not a leftist, a liberal, a Democrat. There's no way. But his take today on his show on Zohran Mamdani and the Democrats continually, consistently, and ceaselessly losing, being a losing proposition for America, is absolute gold. And I've also got the great Harry Enton. The great Harry Enton is going to...
Yep, what up, dog? What up?
And then I'll share the entire... You got to see the whole Fareed take, which is amazing.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
Says that the Democrats are facing an electoral college disaster in the only kind of flair, zest, and gusto that Harry can exhibit. Watch this first.
Take into account the population mid-2025. Look at this. The biggest population growth this decade, all 5 of the states that Donald John Trump won in 2024. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia.
That's right, baby.
And of course, the great state of Arizona, where I spent my New Year's Eve. I love those folks out in Prescott, Arizona. These were the biggest gainers. The biggest gainers in terms of population compared to the 2020 census. Now, it's not just a red state boom. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a red state boom here. But it is not just a red state boom. We're also looking at what I would dare call a blue state depression. Because who are the people? Who and where are the people moving from into the red states? Well, they're blue states. They're blue states. Take a look here. The lowest domestic net migration this decade. All 5 of the states that were won by Kamala Harris in 2024. Look at this. California, Harris's home state. New York, where I'm coming from right now, of course. Illinois, New Jersey, and of course, the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is a bastion of blue liberalism. These are the states that folks in the United States are moving away from and into the red states, which is propelling a red state boom. Now, this is interesting, right? But it could also have major political ramifications if it holds for 2030, the next census. Because take a look here. If, in fact, the 2025 population shifts hold for the 2030 census, look at this. Look at the House seat shifts by state. Remember, of course, we apportion the number of House seats depending on the population in each state. If, in fact, the 2025 population shifts hold for 2030, states that Kamala Harris won, they would lose.
Thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for the likes. Good morning. Good morning. Let's continue.
The states that Donald Trump won in 2024, they would gain 7 seats. Now, this isn't just about the House of Representatives, right? It's also about the Electoral College, because the number of electoral votes that each state gets is equal to the number of senators. Each state, of course, has 2, plus the number of House seats that they have. So what would this mean for the House of Representatives? Well, if you remember back in 2024, right, it was all about, we were talking about the blue wall. If Kamala Harris could win the baseline Democratic states and then add in the blue wall states of Michigan, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, she would get to 270 electoral votes. But if all of a sudden we, in fact, have applying the 2025 estimates, the population estimates, to the Electoral College, the blue states plus the blue wall of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin would no longer be enough. Under the current estimates, you get to exactly 270 electoral votes, the minimum needed to win the Electoral College. If, in fact, you apply the 2025 estimates, look at that. You would only get to 263 electoral votes if you were a Democrat, which would mean a Republican victory.
Amen to that. That's just, I mean, this is consequences to your policies. I live in California. The only reason I'm staying in California, besides the fact that I absolutely love it here and I love the weather, and I've pretty much lived here for the last 45 years when I moved from the Midwest, back when I was just a wee laddie, is that my family's here. My mom and dad are here, who are, in their twilight years, as well as my wife's family is here. And plus, it's probably, there's a part of me that's like, I want to fight for this place. But there's a reason why Newsom is being hailed as the #1 U-Haul salesman of all time, because we're seeing massive migration out of the state. And not just from residents, not just from the hardworking blue-collar middle class, not just from the hardworking, maybe upper middle class or upper class, but also businesses. When you've got businesses like Valero is leaving California, Chevron. I mean, these industries are like, it's like a casino. Like, the house always wins. They never lose money. When you got companies like, Microsoft and Tesla, and now you've got Zuckerberg leaving, the billionaire, because of the stupid wealth tax. Like, who wants to give money to these people? Who wants to give money to a guy who literally has dumped, in the last 25 years, billions of dollars into a homelessness industrial complex, where he says it's to save and help homelessness, and this goes all the way back to 2004, when in fact we can statistically, metrically measure that homelessness has gotten exorbitantly worse. So these policies, these Democrats, these blue-run states and cities are creating this. And you know what? They reap what they sow. And so I could not be any happier. My biggest fear was Kamala. I thank God. I get on my knees, y'all. You don't believe me. I get on my knees every morning, and I thank God that Kamala didn't win. I wasn't just saying that 2024 was the most consequential election of all time. I meant it with every molecule in my anatomy. Now, check this out. I want to share with you this. I wonder if the Democrats will actually pay attention to this.
Pay attention.
Zakaria's take today is absolute masterful. It is a master class in, hard knocks and hard truths, and I can't wait to share this with you. Here's the
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
On blue cities being out of control. Watch.
Zoran Mamdani ran on a promise to make New York affordable.
A mandate for a city we can afford.
Last week, he unveiled a budget that is, in a word, unaffordable. New York has been fiscally profligate for so long that the headline number, $127 billion, produces little shock. But for perspective, these are similar to the annual expenditures of a mid-sized nation with all the expenses a country requires, like Greece or Thailand, devoted to governing one city. New York City's budget has ballooned in recent years. Michael Bloomberg's last budget, adopted for fiscal year 2014, totaled about $70 billion. So in little more than a decade, the budget has nearly doubled, growing faster than inflation and faster than the city's economic growth. And much of it has happened as the city has been losing the one thing that makes big government easier to finance: people. New York City's population fell sharply amid the pandemic, with a 5% decline from April 2020 to July 2022. More recent city reports show a rebound, but the city remained below its 2020 baseline as of 2024. The arithmetic is brutal. A larger bill is divided among fewer payers. Per person, the imbalance is stark. Using the Lincoln Institute's fiscally standardized numbers, New York's general spending in 2023 was more than 30%
Nancy, what is that?
higher
Nancy
per capita
Pelosi.
than Los
She messed it
Angeles,
up too.
and more than double Houston. And what do New Yorkers get for this? Look at New York City schools, the largest school district in the country. The city's education budget has climbed while enrollment has shrunk.
Thank you guys for being in the chat. Really appreciate it. Let's continue. Thank you. Name is Deontay. Subscribe.
While the DOE says per student spending is projected to reach nearly $35,000 in fiscal year 2026, among the highest in the nation.
Thank you. Let's grow together. Name is Deontay.
Numbers, test scores,
Thank you.
and reading levels are at best middling, often comparable to places that spend a fraction of what New York does. Now come the
We got to
taxes.
vote common sense, everybody. Vote for common
Eventually
sense.
ends up at the same curbside. Who will pay? New York already sits at the extreme end of the American tax spectrum. For high earners, the combined state plus city income tax reaches 14.776%. Add federal taxes and the combined marginal rate can exceed 50%, reaching roughly 55% on certain investment income.
I'm going to play Nick Shirley after this one.
Tax rates
Let's see what's going on about California.
Countries that provide in return
Nick Shirley over there. Let's see.
free college education and amazing infrastructure. New Yorkers get some 300 miles of sidewalk sheds. On business taxation, the city is also off the charts. The Citizens Budget Commission reports that New York City business activity faces the country's highest combined corporate tax rate, 17.44%, while state, city, and regional layers are
Thank you, Scott. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys so much.
Rates even further, or else he says he will raise property taxes by almost 10%. Property taxes already made up more than 27% of the cost of home ownership in the city as of 2022, above the national average.
Thank you. Let's grow. Thank you.
Really
Good morning.
Prime example of a
Euphoria.
problem Democrats
Good morning.
seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day. Take Los Angeles, another one-party metropolis wrestling with affordability and disorder. The city's homelessness budget for fiscal year 2025-26 totals about $950 million. The LA Homelessness Services Authority reported that in 2023, homelessness was up 9% countywide and 10% in the city. And a 2024 AP account noted that homelessness has surged 70% countywide since 2015 and 80% in the city. All this amid public frustration despite billions spent. An audit reviewed $2.4 billion in city homelessness funding and found that officials could not reliably track where it went or what it achieved. Or take Chicago, with a mayor whose approval rating is deep underwater, where the pension promises are so large that they were
Birthday, that's what's up. Turning 54 blessings, man.
What is the theory of good government?
Happy birthday. I'm a live stream today, tomorrow. I'm a live stream Monday through Thursday this week.
Producing unaffordability.
In the morning, Monday through Thursday, I'm a live stream. Happy birthday.
Government becomes a machine that grows faster than the society it governs. Zohran Mamdani's basic instinct is correct. focus on affordability, especially housing, but not
What you gonna do for your birthday?
subsidies. These only seem to have driven up the cost of rent as subsidies naturally do. The city's rental assistance spending rose from $263 million in fiscal year 2020 to $1.34 billion in the most recently reported fiscal year. That is a 5 times increase in a handful of years, and housing costs only got worse. Mad Iglesias persuasively argues that the city should make it easy and routine to just build abundant market rate housing. That will bring in more people, expand the tax base, fill the schools, and increase local GDP. And that will make the budget affordable. For Democrats,
Subscribe, everybody. Let's grow, let's grow.
Stop governing.
Thank you.
The goal is to announce new entitlements and instead make government work. Safer streets, functioning schools, predictable sanitation.
All right, the gummy work for us.
Enough housing that the middle class can find places to live. New York City does not need more soaring.
Oh, that's what's up, man. You traveling? Getting out the house. That's what's up.
And you pretend that Fareed Zakaria is Trump, which she basically says the same thing. We need safer streets. We got to get. I mean, he says it in his own. Quite frankly, he says it in his own way. I got my own way of talking, right? I do. I don't talk like the rest of the guys. But he's basically essentially saying the same thing. Keep government out of it. Stop adding all these entitlement programs. Taxpayers are already worked to the bone. We saw like a revolt amongst a lot of African-American New Yorkers who were yelling and screaming back at Mamdani, who promised them all these things. And now they're saying he's going to raise their property taxes.
Stop voting blue, no matter who.
He's basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
This is just common sense. You know, there's a reason why you guys have the lowest approval rating of all time. I don't know what it is. You take what Harry Enton said about the census, about people leaving all these places. Consequences, elections do have consequences. Policies do have consequences. Anti-American, communist, socialist ideologies and methodologies have consequences. They're not compatible with Western civilization. They're not even compatible with...
What's wrong?
Nick Shirley. Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Y'all all right up in there? Are y'all all right up in there? You fine?
Subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Let's grow, let's grow.
Well, how old's your son? 12 years old and he's living here on the streets. Can we talk to your son? Why do you want to talk to my son? Just,
Let him through the tent. Ask him through the... Can we talk to him through the tent? Yeah, you talk to him through the tent. All right, you need something to eat?
There's our clothes.
Something to drink? What you need? What you need? You need somebody to talk to? What's wrong? Huh?
Someone might use my phone.
You want to sell it? I'm going to sell it right here. I don't want to... You sell it right here to shoot? How you want some money? How you want some money? I know that. Or you want some money? Take this out or I can take this money.
You better say please and thank you to everything that you are blessed with.
what do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do for fun? Ride scooters and stuff? What can we do to help you and your mom get off these streets?
How long have you been homeless, you know? A few days?
Is this the first time?
Good one, Salty. Had to break that one down. Good one.
Well, we got to figure out how to help this kid. Who can we go talk to get you guys off these streets?
Hey, this is a good dude right here, man. You might want to talk to him because he's a major dude. He can get you some help if you need it. So, I mean, he probably can get you your mom's help. So you probably want to reach out to him because he's a major.
Subscribe. Good morning. Good morning.
Get you some help. So, if I was you, I would. Talk to him, Nick.
I'd like to figure out how to get you and your mom some help. Can we talk to you real quick? Promise we don't bite. Yeah, get out if you can. What do you think we could do? Huh? Stay here. He's coming out.
Oh, hold on.
How you doing? Good.
Oh, my little man right there. How you doing, man? You in school?
Soon. So right now, is there anything happening to kind of try and get you guys out of the tent into an apartment or something?
Right now, I'm just waiting for my income to come through.
How much money you guys think you need to get into places you don't have to be on the street?
I have no idea. I don't know how much rent is out here or anything. All I know is...
How old are you? 12 years old.
So if Nick can get you the help, would you accept it?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So look into that camera right there and tell them, right? No, this can help you. This is going to help you. Look at that camera.
And we got this 2-year-old kid here.
The system is treating you and your son right now.
You're 12 years old. You just got here on the streets.
We could use a lot of help because everything we've tried since we've gotten to LA has been horrible. We got all our stuff stolen as soon as we got here.
Damn.
And yeah, we just need as much help as we can get, and we appreciate everything that comes our way.
Amazing.
In Jesus' name,
Amen.
amen.
Look, young man, describe to the people
Subscribe.
on these streets because we want to get you off them. So we're gonna post this video.
Scary.
Oh, look, the sun's coming out. And what have you seen so far in these past few days? You're a 12-year-old boy in America living here in the streets of Los Angeles.
It's cold. Coldness.
Mm.
I don't think he knows what to say because he's still a kid, but
Yeah.
it's really scary out here.
But what have you seen for your son out here?
I think some people are nice, but a lot of the time it's kind of dramatic and crazy. There's a lot of nastiness on the streets and stuff. So people, it's just not exactly the greatest place to be.
No. Okay, well, I'm going to give you guys some money. Hopefully get you guys in a hotel for a few days. I'm going to take your mom's phone number down. All right, and then I'm going to post this video, and we're going to see how we can get you guys some help and put you in contact with best people we can.
And you got to make us one promise. You're going to be nice to your mother. If you be nice to your mother, we're going to get you.
Only your parents.
Right there, so you're going to be nice to your mother.
I'll be nice to my mother.
No, that's not the business. One more time.
You didn't even look at the camera. I don't know camera.
I'm
going to be nice to my mother, I promise.
This
That's what's up.
12-year-old here on the streets with his mom. We're going to pay for the hotel for the next 3 days. And then hopefully from there, I'm going to take in our contact info. We're going to make sure that this kid gets into school.
Subscribe, everybody. Let's grow. Thank you.
This is what's
Happy
going on
Monday.
in the streets. And a 12-year-old has to live here. So this is what's going on. We're going to make sure this kid's not in the same situation. All right, we're going to give you guys $500. Get you guys an Uber to here to a hotel, and we'll get you guys there for at least 3 nights.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, there you got $500. We're trusting you with that. And now I got to see you book the hotel and then the Uber as well. And then we'll leave you guys alone. What do you want to be when you grow up? YouTuber. Why do you want to be a YouTuber?
Sounds fun.
Sounds fun. It is pretty fun. I enjoy it.
Maybe give a motivational speech.
You give the motivational speech. What speech would you give to the people right now?
Stay healthy. Stay blessed, yeah.
In your 12 years of life,
What's up, Michael?
Not to be greedy.
Not to be greedy. Wise words from a young man right here. We're going to get him and his mom in a hotel for the next few days. Her hotel is confirmed for the next few days. We're going to order her Uber right now.
That's
if
what's
anyone
up.
here in the Los Angeles area wants to help this lady out and her son or works in any sort of program that can get them housing, we cannot let a little 12-year-old not be in school and also not be sleeping in a safe condition. So reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with them. If you have a program, seriously, please help. I'll put a link. Pack up your stuff.
See, he's doing what the politicians should be doing. There should be more politicians out here doing the exact same thing. You know, looking out for them.
Or there should just be people that have to receive the money from the politicians in these programs. This kid's been out here for a few days.
No excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse for that. Yeah, it's a nonprofit, and like I said, a lot of nonprofit. Like a dude just got indicted last week for fraud. He was feeding homeless people noodles and stuff like that, and he was getting a lot of funding.
Zamir, good morning.
A lot of funding is going into the pockets of a lot of these politicians. And like you said, there's a lot of.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at this. He's offering out all this food. You keep your food. You keep it. Yeah, you keep it.
That's just him. He likes to help.
When's your birthday? My biggest concern is for a woman to be homeless. Obviously, it's horrible. But for a child to be homeless as well, that's our biggest concern out here. And if people can't actually, if they have all these programs out here, and if they do see a child homeless, I feel like they should be expedite that process. It should be a priority. So hopefully,
The paper straws.
Your being taken care of, we'll be able to get you guys put somewhere. Go out and do your best effort to make sure that he's taken care of. Because he should be in school too.
Appreciate that so much.
Well, it looks like we're getting everything packed up, and then we'll get you the Uber, and then you guys will be on your way.
We're so excited, so blessed, so thankful. We appreciate you so much. Right, Isaiah?
Isaiah, the next YouTube star right here.
Isaiah!
One day you'll be able to pay it forward as well.
Hey, Say.
And so how long have you and Isaiah been out here on the streets of Skid Row for?
We've been out here for 3 days now. We've been in LA on the streets on and off for 15 days, but we've had we've come up with money to get a hotel here and there. We've slept in parking garage. We've slept at the hospital. And then we finally came up with the money to get a tent. And it may not be the best place in the world, but it was somewhere for us to go that was out of the rain. So it sucks that we had to be out here, but it was better than being in the rain.
Yeah. My big concern is if you've been out here in the most densely populated location of homelessness, where you have the most amount of NGOs, nonprofits as well, and they see a kid out here for 3 days, and no one really took action to do anything.
Not at all.
You're my boy, Isaiah.
Yeah, he might have had a temper tantrum earlier, but he seriously is one of the sweetest kids ever. Like, for real. He's always been a sweet kid.
I mean, just think about the situation. He's
Right.
12 years old. He's trying to figure out, see what's going through life.
Subscribe, like, and subscribe. Good morning.
And place where you can at least sleep for the next few days, and then continue on for the next, hopefully next little bit as well. Yeah, get the blankets, the jackets, anything you think you might want.
Jacket. Blanket. So are we leaving the tent or what? Leave it.
Isaiah doesn't want that tent to be here anymore. Isaiah's never going back to the tent. Right, Isaiah?
Yeah.
Here we got all their stuff. Now it's time to order the Uber. Now we have Isaiah and his mom. They have all their stuff right here. The Uber is coming, and then they'll be off to their hotel for the next few days, and then we're going to leave it a bit of responsibility in the hands of Isaiah's mom to do everything she can to get into a next location for them to stay as far as getting into one of these programs, and then we'll also do our own part as well to make sure that Isaiah stays off the streets and can get into school and continue to live a normal childhood. So look at this. We have this band right here. They're doing some sort of outreach, but meanwhile they had a 12-year-old sleeping on the streets for days without them even noticing.
They don't even care. They're just down here to get the money. That's one of the programs. They pay people, to sign signatures and things like that to get different proposition signs and things like that, signatures to pass laws and stuff like that. They pay the homeless $1, to boost the signature and use their ID. So that's another scam. You walk around here, you see lots of people and lots of booths set up like that, medical scams, as far as health worker scams and things like that. So there's a lot of scams on that too.
And I just can't believe.
Good morning, Steve.
A few tents down, there's a 12-year-old living for multiple days out here. Meanwhile, you have these two making money off the homeless for getting signatures and all that. So
and a couple things about it, you're going to see it's more homeless kids out here like that that's been overlooked and things like that. It's not getting help. It's a school right around the corner that buses kids from these tents and things like that, so-called get them help. You also go in the food line, you see a lot of kids going into the free food line, to the shelters going to get free food with their parents and stuff like that. So there's a lot of kids with their parents out here that need help.
All right, over here. All right, peace out, Isaiah.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's what's up.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Thank you. See ya. Now they're off to their hotel for the next few days. It's crazy to think that here in the United States we spend billions and billions of dollars on homelessness, yet you have 12-year-old children who've been out here openly on the streets for days and days, yet those billions of dollars aren't going towards the 12-year-old at all, the people that could be using it. Now that Isaiah and his mom are on their way in their Uber, this is the location where they're sleeping at for the past few days here outside of Skid Row. This is one of the most dangerous locations in all of America, yet a kid was able to stay out here for multiple days on end. This place receives billions and billions of dollars in funding through NGOs, nonprofits here in the state of California, yet a 12-year-old was left to be stranded here on the streets for multiple days, and nobody even took the time to put them into housing or anything. You have all these buildings and apartment complexes, but at the end of the day, it failed, and a little kid was left to be out here on the streets by himself. This video isn't made for likes or views. It just goes to show and highlight the fact that this is what's happening here on the streets of the United States. But hope you all enjoyed, and God bless. Our elections are as fair and honest as possible, and I feel like voter ID is just something is just something super simple to have. And you think it's possible, like, illegal migrants could be voting?
Not really. How? I mean, what was showing their ID?
Yeah, if they don't have their ID and they could just sign on behalf of Richard Sherman, then they could technically vote, right? Yeah, but what if they just don't care? What if, like, Richard Sherman
Thank you.
and Bob Joe just don't care?
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
But so you don't think illegals would ever vote, would you?
I don't think so.
No. So instead of showing your ID, you sign your signature and then it's scanned to verify.
The Psycho, good morning. Thanks for coming in. Right.
Show up saying they're someone and it's a signature similar that
Good morning, Glenn.
count. And with millions of people voting, it leaves room for fraud to occur. Just take these two examples.
A Southern California woman is facing 5 felonies after registering her dog to vote in 2 elections. The dog's vote was even counted in one of those elections.
What?
Those behind the stunt say she did it to show the flaws of the current system.
Hundreds of people who cast votes according to state records, but we found they've been dead for years, including a woman who died in 1988.
This is why we need voters' ID.
She somehow voted in 2014.
Period.
26 years
Period.
after
Dead
she
people
passed
vote
away.
how?
Then there's Julita Abutin. Records show she voted in Norwalk in 2014, 2012, 2010, and 2008.
Bruce Brolin, good morning.
She's buried here at Forest Lawn. Abutin died in 2000.
Name is Deontay. Thank you for joining the chat.
Your mother
Like and subscribe.
There's no way.
Abutin's daughter Maravik says it's certainly impossible that her mother voted, but the LA County Registrar confirms they have signed vote-by-mail envelopes with her mother's name for the 2014.
You're right. We need our IDs,
election.
everybody.
Even
Democrats saying it's 2.0 Jim Crow, and it's not.
Crazy conspiracy theory to think that people are illegally voting inside the state of California. And with the state receiving millions of illegal migrants, the opportunities for fraud now are even higher as millions of undocumented people are living inside of the state. Now let's go meet up with a man by the name of Urson who has dedicated years of his life digging through voter rolls, finding fraud and inconsistencies throughout the state. So how bad is the voter fraud here in California?
Well, we actually don't know because law enforcement isn't really investigating it, and we don't have people qualified to actually figure that out.
And what kind of fraud is taking place?
Well, we have voter rolls of about 22 to 23 million people in California, and we have just in Orange County, per se, there's 60 to 70,000 changes a month that happens. So the amount of time and effort to go and follow up with every one of those, we just don't have the resources to do that.
And so what information have you been collecting about the voting fraud here in California?
We have people that are still in our rolls from 2008 that are still getting ballots mailed to them that haven't voted in 18, 16 years.
And so if they haven't voted, what's the problem with them receiving those ballots?
Well, sometimes there's votes that happen later on with someone that hasn't lived here for 12 years. And we found several occurrences of that. When we turn that in, those are treated as independent incidences that don't affect the outcome of the election. So they're highly disregarded from our concerns as voters.
And what information do we have right here?
Well, we got several different pieces that we're looking at today. One thing that's just a simple anomaly for people to understand is there's people that show to be 125 years old in our voter rolls.
You ran really fast. That's a good one, bud.
But the issue is it keeps happening over and over again to the tune of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in every county. That's a large size like where we're at today. Another one is we have a lot of voters that are at central locations, 10, 12, 15 people at a place where what is this business? What is it doing? These people are still going to continue to get ballots. Another one is like a lot of the sororities and the dorm houses, where we have typical turnout, or voter turnout is 106 out of 108 votes cast. So it doesn't mean that that's fraud, but it means these are out of the normal order of what happens. And so that's what we're going to be going around and looking at today and seeing what's out there and what we can find. We have a system where you can register to vote in California without a driver's license number or social security number. Why do we allow that? That creates 9.6 million records that then the state has to send to the Social Security Administration.
Wow.
And when 75% of those come back with no matching Social Security record, it should make every Californian wonder, why do we have a system like that? Why do we have a system that's creating work and uncertainty?
And so what have you done to get this information about the voter fraud that's taking place here in California?
Well, we get our information from the Secretary of State. We get it directly from them. It's a lot of information, and it's very complex. And so we get this from the state, we package it up, and we help with our other researchers across the state that go and break it down into their own counties.
So we have all this information, and now we're going to go head out into the streets of California and see what fraud we can find. Where's the first place we're going?
We're going to the local retirement community, and the reason this one is just kind of particularly odd, you got 45 people registered, and 41 of them actually turned out to vote in the last election. So that's just, again, not typical for 55 to 70% turnout. So it's a mental crisis senior rehabilitation center. So we're just going to go there and see, is there 45 people there? Is there beds? And check it out. Supervisor?
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, looks like there was maybe 41 of 45 people that are registered here. Does that seem low or high to you? Like as far as how many patients or residents you have?
That's probably not accurate anymore.
So that lady right there said that that's probably not accurate.
Right.
So this could be a huge location where hundreds of votes could be casted from this one location. She said that numbers sound like they're inaccurate, 41 out of 45.
Correct. So is there a lot more people that could be registered to vote and could be having their voices expressed?
Well, let's move on to the next location.
You got it.
Now we're here in the University of San Diego because they got lots of voters here. But what's the deal with this location?
It's some sort of institute for peace and justice, so it doesn't seem like you'd have a lot of voters like registered at some sort of an administrative office, but it very well could be. There's students that are all over the place here, so maybe it's some sort of a central mailing house or something like that.
You have a conference room, you have Garden of the Sky, the Kroc School, classrooms, conference rooms, anything but dorms. And this is the location where 58 people are registered to vote here inside of the state of California.
Is this like a central mailing location, like this building for students and stuff?
No, this one is not. So we do have a mail center.
Because right here on the John B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice, it says we had 58 registered to vote and 50 people voted from this location.
So it's 5998 Alcala Park. You're saying
the entire university.
The entire university. So where do the ballots go?
I have no clue. I've never seen them.
So far, we're 0 for 2 as far as getting any clarity about where these votes are being cast from here.
Yeah, or any sort of real clarity.
And at these locations, when there's only around 40 to 50 people registered to vote, in locations where there's hundreds and thousands of people, it leaves lots of room for speculations, especially when nobody actually knows what the real count is and where the votes are being casted from. And just a reminder, all this information from Urson is the most up-to-date information from the Secretary of State of California as far as the voter rolls go. The fraud continues. Now we're outside of a extra space, a storage unit location. Here, 5 people are registered to vote.
Correct.
Did they cast their votes?
3 of them did in the 24 election. Then we had 1 that cast a ballot in the 2020 election and 1 that's never voted. The point is that unless this is a primary residence, right, or where you can sleep, right, which no one's supposed to by law allowed to sleep in their public storage unit, then this is not a legal registration. And these are the things that the county continues to let slip through the cracks.
Let's see if they're here. We have the names of all
Thank you,
people.
thank you.
Let's see if they're here. How's it going, sir? Good. We're just looking for a few people here. We have Lily Morey, Philip Thomas, Cindy Thomas, Robert Thomas. We're just looking for these individuals as they're registered to vote here.
You have people that live here in extra space.
Are you Robert Thomas?
Okay, so give me this list real quick.
Oh, from the
2 hours in. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Let's continue.
What about Robert, Sydney, Philip, and Lily Thomas? What about them? Do they also get their ballots here? Robert Thomas, Sydney Thomas, John Thomas, and Philip Thomas. Do you know where any of those individuals are? Any of the Thomases?
No, they're not here right now. There's no one living in storage facilities, right? That's
No,
the
right?
question, right? Just wondering if people are actually living in storage facilities.
So 5 people are registered to vote here. They confirm that nobody lives here.
little fishy. California's got some weird things going on. So 5 people, and they didn't know where any of the Thomases were, but this is their primary location.
Well, if those 2 people actually live here and this is where they stay, their primary residence, right? They get their driver's license here, their tax stuff comes here. It's completely legal. But the other people that are here, they didn't know or do know or so forth, right? Or they someone that was just getting something in a storage facility. So,
but this is a storage facility. There's no apartments here.
No.
Nobody's living here.
Not inside the storage facilities. But if the couple that we spoke to is actually, this is their primary residence, that would be legal under state law.
But for these 5 people that are registered and that cast their votes,
and if it's not them, then no, those are not legal.
Those are illegal votes. And so that right there is 5 potentially fraudulent votes in one location inside of a storage unit.
This is super important to understand before we go to the next location. In California, when you register to vote, you must be your domicile location, which is your primary residency. You can then put a different address to receive your mail, but for it to be on the voter registration form and for the voter rolls, it must be your domicile address, your primary address. Now we're going to start going to some of these locations where people have put their primary addresses as P.O. boxes. In locations like the one we're about to go to, over 30 people are registered to vote at this one UPS store. With this fraud, a lot of these people registered to vote have their primary residency at a UPS store or a United States Postal Service location. Right here, we have over 30 people are registered to vote, and all these people right here, there's over 30 of them, are registered to vote, and this is their location, and a large majority of them actually voted in the 2024 election against Trump and Joe Biden. And right here, we have Gloria. Gloria voted in the last election. She's at 100 years old.
Yeah. Born in 1925. Still kicking.
What do you think about over 30 people are registered to vote in this UPS store right here? Is that a little strange to you?
Is it through P.O. boxes?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you trying to do, or what are you trying to prove?
Yeah,
so you have to re-register where you live, right? Where your primary residence is. And so if you've got a primary residence that's a UPS store,
Meta glasses.
Tiny houses, inside the UPS store for people to live in.
Probably. What's your guys' affiliation?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
Could you live inside a P.O. box?
No.
So do you think it's a little strange that here in California you have lots of people who are registered to vote from these P.O. boxes? Meanwhile, you don't even have to show your ID when you go and vote.
I don't want to be part of the whole MAGA storyline. Thank you.
This isn't a MAGA storyline, man. This is just a straight up facts. Now we're going in. How are you guys doing? Yeah. Could we talk to somebody?
No.
This is super important. It has to do with our elections here, man.
Can someone come and talk to us?
Is Gloria here by chance? Because she's 100 years old and she voted last election from here. All right, so they won't even speak to us. Do you know Gloria? She's 100 years old. She voted last election here. She's supposed to live in one of these P.O. boxes.
I had no idea.
A little strange, right? Sir, have you ever met like a Gloria or anything? She's supposed to live in one of these P.O. boxes. She voted. No, no idea. And another thing that's super concerning about all this fraud taking place is right now the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is also leading the way on play market as to who's going to be the Democrat nominee in 2028. What do you think it says about states that don't require people to have voter ID?
It's like inconsistent, so people can kind of like tweak it however they want. So I don't know. I don't trust it. That's why.
Should states require people to show voter ID when they go and vote?
100%. Like I think people should be verified that that's them voting and that's like them as a person. Like that needs to be like a face-to-face action. If they can't, there needs to be another way of verification.
And what makes you think that way? A lot of people don't think that way about voter ID.
I don't know. I think it's just like a common sense thing. Like it should be you that's voting and like your vote that's going through. So it's not just like anybody.
Do you think people would pass you off for Ralph Saucedo if you just said you're Ralph Saucedo?
No. Like if I said that to me, they'd be like, really? If I walked up and like I said, oh yeah, I'm 100 years old, they'd be like, what? You can't like fake age. So
this building here in downtown San Diego, there's over 16 people who are registered to vote at this address right here. It wouldn't surprise you if inside of this building alone, there's 15 people registered to vote, yet all the windows are boarded up.
Oh, one of the business was Ducats, and I never saw anybody go in or out of there.
15 people are registered to vote, and a lot of them voted in the 2024 election.
Doesn't surprise me. This is California for a reason.
Do you think voter fraud takes place here in California?
100%.
And you trust Gavin Newsom?
No.
New scum.
No, not at all.
New scam.
You can tell by the way he talks. He never wants to answer a real question. Let's see. He calls ICE basically called him out, calls him terrorist. In some ways, I kind of hope he runs for president. That means someone else is going to get governor, and if he doesn't make it as president, his political career is done. I don't see him winning. I really don't.
Right now in Polymark, he is leading for the Democrats as far as who's going to be the next nominee.
Yeah, Kamala was leading. Look how that went.
Do you think California should require voter ID?
Do I think that voters should require voter ID?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Why?
How come you need an ID when you go to the airport?
I don't know why you got to do that either.
So do you think it's possible to have fair elections here in the United States if people don't prove who they actually are by
This
getting
guy is an
an
idiot.
ID when they go and vote?
I can't even answer that. Because I'm like this. If you're here, you can vote. It's just too much paperwork.
Too much
Oh, he just lazy.
Too much bureaucracy, too much stuff.
He just lazy. That's what
So
that
when you go
is.
vote, you don't want to show your ID.
Nah.
What?
Nah, for what?
To prove that you are you.
I mean anyway.
We don't know you though.
Anyway.
So no ID.
Nah. Mm-mm.
What if I wanted to vote on behalf of your name?
Why would you want to do that? Tell me why I want to do that, and then I can make a decision.
What if I wanted you to vote Democrat and you're a Republican?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a point. But I still ain't approving of it.
Damn.
We headed to the next location, and it was the exact same thing where tons of people were registered to receive votes.
You know he
in the
trolling.
PO box. So we were wondering, do these people live here?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, are they living inside the post office?
This is the address of the post office, right? Yeah. This isn't like their mailing address. That's like their actual registration address.
Subscribe, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Like PO box on them and things. Yeah.
And it's not a problem if someone is registered here to receive their ballot, but this is their primary residence. That is a problem. And that's what the case is for all of these people right here.
And it's an illegal registration based on state law.
This leaves a lot of leeways for people to vote fraudulently, whether it be ballot harvesting or them just voting on behalf of somebody else.
And that's the thing that we have the greatest concern, right? 23 million ballots go through some process. This is one post office in one city, in one county, in our entire state, right? So it just has an exponential impact when you add up all the little small things that are going on.
As you can see, there's a lot of issues with these voting rolls and a lot of inconsistencies. And one of these inconsistencies is people over the age of 100 years old that are eligible to vote. For instance, there's a lot of people over the age of 125. And in this video, we just filmed around a 15-mile radius. So imagine what it's like all across the state of California. And now let's go see if there's actually 126-year-olds voting in California. Are you Doris?
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Yes.
How are you doing? We're just going through the voting rolls here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here, it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house.
Are you Doris?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information. All that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, it's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in California they're just messing up on all these voting rolls here?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says you voted in 51 elections, Doris.
No, not me.
Really?
I'm not no 107 years old.
I know.
I said I wasn't.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years old.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it really does say you're 126 years old here.
No.
Says,
who did this? You be 126. That don't even make sense.
I know. That's what the Secretary of State says.
Well, the Secretary of State is wrong.
Okay, well.
Put it like this: I was born in 1940, so you figure that out.
All right, Doris. You have a good evening. All right, so let's say his name's Virginia. She's 125 years old. She's voted over 55 times, and she's active on the voter rolls here in California. Let's see if she's home. Hi, how's it going, sir? Doing good?
No, I'm cooking.
Oh, he cooking. Subscribe.
125 years old?
125 years old.
Yeah. She's registered to vote at this location right here. Is Virginia here?
Yeah, but she ain't no 125 years old.
Really? How old is Virginia then?
80.
80? Well, here on the state of California, she's 125 years old. And she's voted in 55 elections. Is there another Virginia?
not here.
Virginia,
10-4. She's only one in the whole world.
only one in the whole world. Well, I hope she's voting good, so she's not 125? No. Well, is Virginia doing good at least?
So, well, she's a year younger than me, and I'm 82.
Say, go tell Newsom she ain't 125, she 81.
Okay.
Awesome, you do that. Have a good one. Do you see what the problem is? Every location we went to inside this video, there's something wrong with the voter rolls. Whether or not the person is 125 years old, it actually doesn't matter. The part that matters is that the information is wrong on the person who's supposed to be voting here inside the United States. And the other locations, people aren't supposed to be living inside of P.O. boxes, yet they are registering to vote out of P.O. boxes, making it impossible to track back who that person is to see who actually cast that vote. This leads to lots of fraud, and everyone should be concerned about the integrity of our elections when people cannot show their own ID when they show up to vote.
Here's New York City taxes explained for people who don't pay attention. Property tax, income tax, sales tax, unincorporated business tax, commercial rent tax, hotel tax, mortgage recording tax, mansion tax, utility tax, congestion pricing, 20 plus taxes. And the mayor wants more. Let me show you what that actually feels like. You're 26, first real job, $85,000 a year. If you're rich, you see your paycheck. Federal takes a cut, fine. Then New York State takes 6%. Then New York City takes another 3.5%. Then there's a metropolitan commuter mobility tax you've never heard of. Your $85,000 is now $54,000 before rent. You grab a cup of coffee, 8.875% sales tax. You take an Uber to the airport. Congestion pricing is another $9. Your landlord raises the rent. He's passing along a property tax increase you'll never see on a bill, but you're paying every month. You're not rich. You're not even comfortable. You're just surviving. But it's fine. It's New York. You chose this. Now here's the part nobody talks about. In 2000, New York City's budget was $40 billion for 8 million people. That's about $5,000 per person. Today, it's $121 billion for 8.5 million people. So that's about $14,244 per person. Population grew 6%. Inflation was 82%. Spending per person nearly tripled. So things must be 3 times better, right?
Nope. I literally just dropped the YouTube short where there was poop. I mean, literal poop on the sidewalk in New York City. I mean, covered the sidewalk. Covered it. I mean, it started to look like San Francisco, right? Where they have the poop map. New York City is an absolute dump, man. Absolute dump. You got rats the size of chihuahuas, right? Now you got poop all over the sidewalks. You got Mom Donnie making excuses for not being able to pick up the trash. Oh, well, you know, we had snow and it was cold. As if that ain't never happened in New York City. What? Like, that was legitimately his excuse for the city being late on picking up trash. I mean, there was mounds of trash on the sidewalks, lining the sidewalks, 6 feet high. Mountains of it. Mountains of it. And his reasoning was, well, it snowed and it was cold. Now, if it was Florida and he was saying that, all right, I hear you. I hear you, Mom Donnie. I don't like your policies, but I accept your excuse. All right, I get that. You probably ain't got, the infrastructure to handle snow in Florida. But in New York City, really? Really? Come on now. Stop it with the nonsense. Stop it. They literally have snow melters. I've never even heard of snow melters. Like, what? Come on now. That was his excuse. And my goodness.
Right.
80-some thousand turns into 54 before you even have a chance to grab a coffee. Goodness gracious. I don't see why anybody even lives in New York City at this point. Like, why? What's the point? What's the point? I mean, you could visit, live outside the city yourself, but I wouldn't live in New York City at all. Nah. Not a chance. Not a chance. Like, why? As a matter of fact, I don't even want to live in New York State. Okay? Because, yeah, nah. No, thank you. No, thank you. Pass. Hard pass. Seriously. That is crazy.
In 2017, 51% of New Yorkers rated quality of life as good. Today, it's down to 34%. Only 12% think the city spends money wisely. Only 22% feel safe on the subway at night. Felony assaults are at a 24-year high. They spend $31,000 per student.
And they're about to get worse because, of course, Mamdani wants to decrease police funding and fund, what do you call it? The crisis helpers or whatever, the unarmed mental health people that go out. And it's like, bro, I don't know if you guys heard, did I talk about this on this channel or was it on the Extra Rich channel? I don't remember. On one of these channels, if I remember correctly, I talked about the story. Maybe I just looked at it. No, I made a video on it. I can't remember if I did it on this channel or the Extra Rich channel. By the way, go and subscribe to Extra Rich. Link is in the description. But the situation where an officer, police were called out to a home where, you know, a young man was having some mental health issues, right? The officer gets there and the young man grabs a knife. The officer backs out of the house that he was called to, mind you, backs out of the house, and he shuts the front door to put, you know, some type of barrier in between him and this young man. Cool. Great job, officer. You didn't immediately resort to shooting this guy, which you had the legal authority to do so. I mean, he was coming at you with a knife. That is a lethal and deadly weapon. So he could have just stood there and just pop. Officer didn't do that. Officer backed up, backed out of the house, shut the door, and was attempting to hold it shut.
Right, Russell.
And while holding his firearm in the other hand.
Was it $127 billion?
The door open.
And that's a city compared to a state. That's a big difference, man.
How that went, right? Yeah, he got shot. What would
like people out here trying to compare Chicago to Rockford. Rockford has 100,000 people. Chicago has 3 million people.
What's that individual?
Can't compare the two.
Exact same situation.
But people try.
Exactly. Somebody's gonna lose their life. That person is losing their life, and that's in that same situation, that same circumstance.
Subscribe. Good morning. Good morning.
Having their throat cut open. You know, and I don't say that to make fun of it or
you're going to be free.
None of that.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
saying, like, bro, this stuff is not.
That's why y'all billionaires leaving.
People like Mamdani.
Millionaires leaving New York, Illinois too.
Sending individuals in with
you can't tax all
weapons,
that.
No way to defend themselves into very dangerous situations, and it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So crime is only gonna get worse.
$1,000 per student on education. Less than half the kids can read at an actual grade level. They tripled the spending, and everything has gotten worse. Where'd the money go? Pensions up 115%. Outsourced contracts up $7 billion. A brand new $5 billion asylum seeker expense that didn't exist 3 years ago. Social services doubled.
$5 billion asylum seeker expense. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Spending your hard-earned cash on illegals. Money that they already don't have. They're deciding to take it and spend it on illegals. Amazing. Amazing. That's Democrat Party for you. That's the Democrat Party for you.
302,000 city employees, debt ballooning. And the new mayor doesn't look at this and say, we need to spend better. He says, we need to tax more. A 2% income tax hike that would push the combined state and city rate to 16.8%, the highest in the entire country. Tax increases that impact everyone. His supporters chant, tax the rich at rallies. The top 1% already paid 40% of the city's income tax. And they're leaving anyway. New York City's share of the nation's millionaires dropped from 7% to 4%. They have accountants.
From 7 to 4. And it's probably still dropping, right? And I know what these leftists always say, well, it's just 2%. Yeah, 2% on top of what you're already taxing. You're already taxing them out the wazoo. Like, when does it end? I mean, it's like when taxes were first invented, right? You give them a little, soon they'll keep pushing. They'll keep pushing. Oh,
Thank you, Russell.
We're only going to tax people making over a certain amount. Okay? All right, cool. Well, now we got to tax everybody. But it's going to be just a small amount. Well, now we need money for X, Y, and Z, so we're going to tax y'all a little bit more. And then we're going to tax y'all even more because we need X, Y, and Z. Oh, well, we're in debt, so we need to tax y'all. Like, it just keeps piling up. Keep piling up. They're already paying an exorbitant amount of money towards taxes. Yeah, some of these individuals make a boatload of money, but that doesn't mean that they want to see a boatload of money going out to people who didn't work for their money. Like, they work hard for their cash. Just because you make, I'm going to throw a number out there, just because you make $10 million a year doesn't mean you want to see $5 million of that going towards taxes. Right? Oh, well, you still got $5 million, but I earned 10. I earned 10. And you taking half? You didn't even work. You didn't bust your butt for this 10. I did. Why you taking half? Why do you get to take half? You know?
Amazing.
I think taxes should be overhauled totally.
You guys get a chance, check it out. Check it out if you get a chance. It's a video I did a few days ago.
You know, for different things, we should be able to pick and choose what we want our tax dollars to go towards. I don't know. Obviously, that would be really, really complicated. I think you always have to have a baseline, amount of taxes, right? Because infrastructure, roads, things like that need to be fixed. But anything beyond that, man, it's just nonsense. Especially when you learn that our tax dollars are going towards, I don't know, like random stuff. Researching whether or not monkeys can be turned gay. Like just random stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, that's what you spend our tax dollars on? Seriously? Really? I don't know. I think we, the people, should be more involved in where those tax dollars are going and how much we're being taxed for it. That's just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know.
They have Florida. You know who can't leave? Your uncle with the restaurant.
Yep, you.
Your parents in that house.
Facts.
You watching your paycheck disappear into 20 taxes before you can save $1. You need to make $312,000 in New York to live the same lifestyle as someone making $125,000 in Houston. Now, Houston spends $2,850 per person. No state income tax, no city income tax, and the population is growing. New York City spends 5 times more. Worse results. New York City is a Netflix subscription that keeps raising the prices while the product gets worse. And you can't cancel.
Yeah, that's facts. I had to cancel my Netflix subscription. Like, boy, man, y'all keep raising these prices year after year, bro. Y'all tripping. I don't even watch this stuff like that. I just had it for, in case of emergencies. Break glass in case of emergency. If I need something to watch, hey, you got Netflix. Nope, cancel. I'm out of here, coach. Y'all just continually keep raising y'all prices for no damn reason. The product ain't really a whole lot better. Matter of fact, it's probably worse. If I'm being completely honest, all this woke stuff y'all attempted to do, nah, I'm cool. Cancel. Cancel. No thank you.
40 billion wasn't enough. 60 billion wasn't enough. 80 billion, 100 billion. Now we're at $121 billion. It will never be enough because the problem was never revenue. There is enough money. There has always been enough money. They don't need more of yours. They need to do better with what they already take. I hope you understand what's at stake.
Yeah, I agree with them. The problem isn't the amount of money that they're bringing in; it's the amount of money that they're spending. Bro, if we all ran our personal finances the way that Democrats run city and state and governmental finances, we'd be in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt for no damn reason, with nothing to show for it. Nothing, absolutely nothing to show for it. And it's absolutely ridiculous that Democrats are allowed to just get away with this nonsense, right? Spend, run out of money, tax some more, cry, billionaires bad, billionaire bad, we need to tax the billionaires. And it's just, come on, man, stop spending so much money. Literally, it's that simple. You're spending money on people who haven't even contributed to the system, i.e. illegals. Why is that happening? When you're already struggling to balance the budget, you're choosing to spend money on people who shouldn't even be here in the first place, people who haven't even contributed to the system. Come on, man. Once again, that's the Democrat Party for you. Make sure y'all get.
But first, before I get to everything that you have come to expect from the news today, you remember how angry you were, and I would bet still are, that no matter how hard you have worked in your life, or if you're still working, have worked today.
Subscribe. Thank you.
When the Minister for Freebies, Annika Wells, was caught, there was nothing to see here. The rules couldn't possibly change. When she, of course, as both Minister for Communications, meaning media favourite, but of course, Sports Minister, meaning she gets to parade as if she's an extra member of these teams, you are paying for the privilege of her being there. We have had to pay for, as you know, the limousines out the front waiting hours and hours and hours because she's just that damn important. She's a person who has, in fact, so many freebies that she's got tickets on herself. And there are some who think one day she'll end up being Prime Minister. Just a little forewarn, because when it comes to the Labor Party, you seem to always fail up. Remember old KK? Until eventually die lead.
Marco Rubio was a hit. I mean, he just had a masterful, historic type of speech there. I mean, this was Reagan-esque in my estimation. I encourage you to go watch.
What you guys think? Mark Rubio for president?
We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it. And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it.
It's great. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. I'm looking at Beluto, 5853. This is Marco 2028. I don't know. After that speech, I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, JD, watch out. My gosh, it was so good. Jam 4111 writing Marco gave one of the best speeches I've heard in a long time. I thought the same thing. I want to make my kids watch the whole darn thing together. We got to watch it together because the whole thing just gave me goosebumps. And it was really important. It was really
I think sort of signaling that this is a new day upon us, right? And knowing that we have new leadership in the U.S. that hopefully is going to be here to stay for a long time. And I mean that. We need this continuation of the MAGA cycle in order to ensure that these principles really are followed through on. I mean, it's so critical. Cat Crazy Sam, thank you again, writing. I think we're seeing a bunch of actors who haven't learned the new script. Now they're out floundering while trying to think through their new lines. You know, yeah, I mean, you've got the Democrats who maybe never understood a script to begin with, right? Because they never understood any of the issues that were at stake. And now you're up against the likes of Marco, who has spent his entire life thinking through all of this. I mean, really, this has been his career, and he kind of was made for this job at a really critical moment in time. I was blown away by everything he said, and, you know, he sort of gave it to the Europeans. They did give him a standing ovation at the end, but he put them on notice. In other words, we can't take you on as that kind of a liability. If you're willing to let every single person that hates you come into your country and live off you and mooch off you and then try and change your culture, which, by the way, it's a great culture, then you know what? We can't really be there to defend you because you're putting yourself in a very precarious, difficult position. And so we need to actually get you to be stronger in order to partner with you. We don't want these little weaklings who just, you know, roll over and play dead and let all these people come in and steal from them. We're not going to let it happen here either. Thank you very much. Marco Rubio having to articulate again over the weekend just exactly how the whole visa thing works. You know, they forget that they're a guest in someone else's country. Let's go to Marco.
Right, it's called assimilate.
I've said this repeatedly. I don't know why it's so hard for some to comprehend it, so let me repeat it again. A visa, no one's entitled to a visa. There is no constitutional right to a visa. Okay, a visa is a permission to enter our country as a visitor. If you enter our country as a visitor, and as a visitor in our country, be it a student, a tourist, a journalist, whatever you want to be, and you undertake activities that are against the national interest, the national security of the United States,
right, subscribe.
In fact, if we knew you were going to do it, we probably wouldn't have given you your visa.
No, I can promise you we would not have given you that visa. You never would have gotten that visa. And that's a big part of what he's been doing. And they get all worked up about that one too. But he's like, hey, if you're going to come here and be a rabble rouser, we don't need you here. You are here as our guest. And
International, thanks for joining the chat. Good morning.
Some kind of decorum. You have to follow a certain set of rules. You're not going to go out and try and be a you-know-what disturber and get people all riled up and protesting in the streets. That's not acting like a guest. You are here because of our good graces, because we have kindly invited you in. And as a guest, you have a responsibility to behave and act accordingly. And the fact that the left doesn't understand that, I'm sorry, they don't have the same rights as the rest of Americans. They just don't. You're here on a visa. You're going to be kicked out more easily because we can kick you out. You don't get the same kind of privileges. You can't come here and try to. I love this guy. Okay. Like I said, we got a few gremlins on the road here today. Let's try again. I love this clip because it's not often that the view gets stunned into silence.
You are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I'll tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21 with absolutely nothing. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America, they're the foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house, that I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. But you have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever.
Thank you, Arnold. The View ladies, they don't know what to say to that. He's right. They don't know what to say. You know who else would know what to say? Ilhan Omar, who seems to hate this country, by the way. This country that supported her so
Get
much.
to the chopper.
So I realized she's a naturalized citizen. I mean, look, if Emmer gets his way, maybe not for long. I mean, Tom Emmer, the Republican from Minnesota, has introduced
Subscribe.
legislation
Let's grow together. Common Sense Channel.
was involved in that would denaturalize those citizens. Marshall Blackburn over in the Senate has also introduced
Good morning, Mark.
to get rid of the fraudsters, and that would, if somehow Ilhan Omar is trapped up in that, would involve Ilhan as well. We're going to have more on Ilhan Omar tomorrow on this show, so make sure, if you haven't subscribed, do me that favor. Gosh, do Cat Crazy Sam that favor, right? After getting you all those memberships, so please make sure that you subscribe to this important time, and it's going to get more important every single day right now. And I'm not discouraged by those polls that I showed you earlier on. I'm really not, because I think that there's a lot unfolding in real time, and there's changes happening on the immigration front that I think
Hey.
better for the country, in that we're going to be able to get the access to the jails that we need in order to get out the bad guys, the criminals. And you know what? If you're not going to give us access, well then, Tom Homan's going to do his thing. So we've got that going on. We've got better.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Look at what you saw from the likes of Marco Rubio. That really embraced, if you would, what Donald Trump stands for. So very, very good stuff. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. It's really
Subscribe.
I'd love if you would do me that favor of subscribing to the show.
Thank you.
I think the subscribe button's like right down there if I'm pointing in the right direction. And I'm going to be back live with you again tomorrow, because we're going to get into Ilhan Omar. I've got some new developments I want to bring to you on that front, and much, much more. Happy President's Day, everyone. We've got a great president. Yeah, I think so. All right. I'm hoping you think so too. Let me know. How's Trump doing? Thumbs up? I'll see you right back here live tomorrow.
All right, Patriots, this has been a terrible week, terrible month for the Democrats, except they had one opportunity to gloat, and that was right after the Supreme Court put out their ruling as far as on President Trump and the tariff. And they were running around putting out all types of headlines. Oh, yeah, Trump's tariffs are gone. This is a victory for the foreign countries. We have to pay back all of the countries. They were literally celebrating the fact that they thought we would continue to have an unfair trade balance where the other countries could tariff us. We couldn't tariff anybody. The Democrats celebrated that, just like they celebrate illegal immigrants, just like they celebrate criminals, just like they tout affordability, and then come in and pass all type of laws and new taxes that make life unaffordable. They are the party that does the opposite of what they say. And I've said it on countless videos. 2026 is the year of the mask off of the Democrat Party. And remember, whatever it is they say they're for, they're doing the opposite. Whatever it is they accuse their opponents of doing, they're actually doing. Now, we're going to set this party off, because in this video, AOC is literally on the verge of shedding sweet liberal tears, because she's being attacked and eaten alive for her performance in Munich. And then she has the nerve to attack and insult New Yorkers who, listen to her, voted for Mamdani, and now they've got snow everywhere, poop all over the ground from the homelessness that has been approved by Mamdani, many California style. The taxes, the property taxes that people are about to be slammed with, but rather than have empathy, she's going to insult and attack New Yorkers. So you're going to love this video, because this is nothing more than a roast session.
Mark, you never hear him say anything about USA.
We'll be very,
He always complaining.
and entertaining. So we're going to set it up.
Right. Any Democrat party I've seen and heard, they never mentioned USA. They always complaining about America bad, or that's bad, this and that. America, baby, USA, and we won.
With Senator John Kennedy, who I love listening to this countryman talk, because he has some of the funniest 1- and 2-liners you ever want to hear. Check this out.
Senator Kennedy upset a lot of Democrats with this one.
How can I put this? The Congresswoman is kind of like Vice President Kamala Harris, but with more bartending experience. She has never been accused of being a policy maven. Our plan for dealing with her, as I've said before, has always been Operation Let Her Speak.
Do you realize AOC has never been married, has no children, has never ran a business, has never owned a business, is not known for any policy or legislation that has helped her district at all? Matter of fact, her district is failing tremendously while she's out gallivanting around with psycho crazy Bernie Sanders doing their oligarchy tour while she's earned millions since she's been in Congress. When she came in with student loan debt and she's putting on her shtick like she's from Bronx girl, she's from the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from the Bronx. But really, she's from a suburb high school, grew up in like a $250,000 house that's 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours outside of the Bronx, where she was known as Sandy. So her shtick and then her little bartending that she did for a few months while in college, I believe she only did that to be able to sell that story to ignorant voters. And when I say ignorant, I only mean lacking knowledge or lacking information of the people there in the Bronx. They so busy working 2, 3, and 4 jobs, they don't have time to do the research that you and I do to learn that she's a fraud, she's an empty suit, she's a word salad buffet owning Kamala Harris Jr. being individual who has nothing except but Trump, as you're going to find out in this video. Now, I want you to listen to John Fetterman, who tortures her, because I didn't even think about this. On the heels of the dumb stuff she said, watch what John Fetterman points out and tell me if you thought about it too. Check this out.
Happened to see AOC in Germany?
I saw some of it. The most trouble thing for her views is she is just anti-Israel. And those views and so clueless to sit in Germany and accuse Israel of genocide while you're sitting in Germany.
Thank you.
And how ignorant that is. I didn't really see where she kind of had her flub. But the views that I have heard of hers, specifically anti-Israel, and that's really part of the serious rot within parts of my party.
I didn't even think about the fact that she's in Germany, accusing Israel of genocide while sitting in Germany, a nation that committed some of the worst, if not the worst, genocide the world has ever known. Again, not too intelligent, doesn't read.
Didn't think they brightest.
Now we also gonna listen to this Laura Ingraham segment as she goes into AOC, and then we gonna let you hear Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as she tries to defend or fight off the backlash and the attacks that she's been getting online by insulting voters and insulting New Yorkers.
Good one, Mark. Right. Good one, Mark.
Ocasio-Cortez carpet bombed herself just by speaking.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan?
I think that this is such a. I think that. This is, of course, a very long-standing.
Y'all want her for president? Yeah, okay.
And I
subscribe.
What we are hoping for is that we want to make sure.
Thank you.
Get to that point, and we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation.
But it took this Munich trip for most of America to realize that AOC didn't do the reading.
No research.
Why? Because she's never been challenged. She catapulted her way to political stardom by acing Instagram and TikTok. But then by cocooning her, the media didn't really do her any favors because now everyone knows she's failing, not only geopolitics, but economics too.
So when you run for president, are you going to impose a wealth tax or a billionaire's tax?
I don't think that I don't think that anyone, and that we don't have to wait for any one president to impose a wealth tax. I think that it needs to be done expeditiously.
Couldn't master basic
subscribe.
We're talking about Maduro being arrested by the U.S. and Venezuela.
He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
Below the equator.
Amazing.
Time to study a map. AOC. That could be confusing. Equator, north, south.
Thank you so much. Name is Deontay. Thank
I will
you.
never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really helps the video get out there, and we appreciate it. And if you aren't
Obama
subscribed to the
did.
channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you hit that notification bell and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. So as you see, this
Same thing here. Subscribe, everybody.
beneath the equator, wrong. And I mean, everything she did was flubbed all over the place. In Germany, accusing Israel of being genocide, but in Germany, then talks about a wealth tax. And listen, I'm all about politicians being straight up, so we know what we're voting for. But the fact that she's talking about a wealth tax, and everybody heard that, every billionaire, every person close to being a billionaire, every corporation will do everything they can to keep that woman as far away from the White House as possible. And that's a problem for the Democrats because they've been pumping her up as their golden star child, running around with Bernie. Now she drops to the bottom. And I know people like Jazzless Crotchet and other folks are happy to see this woman because, again, what has she done? Senator John Kennedy says she's not known for policy. She lied about being a Bronx girl. She's really a suburban chick that they knew as Sandy. And then she goes on the world stage and looks like a fool. But she thinks the best thing to do is to come back to America and insult her voters who have been attacking her online for her screwing it up when they believed in her so much. Check this out.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten a... The
two shot by ICE, right? Rest in peace, Renee Good. Rest in peace, Alex Preddy. But they're not going to talk about the 38 shot by transgenders since 2026 started. They're not going to talk about that. Jasmine Crockett, who sat in Congress and argued down Marjorie Greene, and y'all was rooting for her when she's taking up for transgenders over women and gave transgenders civil rights and
to a president that never thinks before he speaks and doesn't care about the implications of his words before he speaks on matters like these. And in fact, if you actually look at what Trump said about this issue himself, he actually had the same, if not a worse, answer.
That's crazy,
so
y'all.
Ask yourself, why?
Thank you.
The issues turn to that, and I'm going to tell you, it's because, frankly, there are very few people who are actually willing to.
What is that noise in the background?
That continues to send people to war and bankrupt our country.
Somebody asleep?
If you think that.
So, as you heard, like she did what the Democrats always do, pivot to Trump. When you can't respond for yourself, when you don't have a good reason for failing, when you look bad, it's always a Trump. Now, this woman has the audacity to compare her answer to Trump's answer. The only difference is the media isn't attacking Trump. Matter of fact, he has standing ovations. Foreign leaders agree with his foreign policy. They understand it's strong. He's been suggested and referred for a Nobel Peace Prize. She's a congresswoman from a failed district in the Bronx who does nothing but social media and thought she could take that negative leftist blue-haired crap over on the world stage and people were going to celebrate it. The only people she had applaud for her were the staffers that she took with her and the other 7 Democrats that was there looking foolish as she was. That's it. Now, we know that Mom Donnie, now we're going to hear from a person in her district too. We're going to hear from that here in a second. Now, Mom Donnie, who's failing in New York, who AOC campaigned so hard and people believed in her, so they supported him. There's poop all over the ground. There's snow everywhere. He's threatening to increase property taxes 9.2%. Because what he really wants is that wealth tax that Governor Hochul during an election year is not willing to put out there and cut her own throat with the wealthy who she needs for her support. That's the crazy thing. Why these ignorant voters, only meaning lacking knowledge, fall for it. They love the Democrats talking about getting at the billionaires. But the billionaires are the Democrats' funding base. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available because this year, Medicare plans are expected to increase 10%. And that's $200 you need to be only 1% on the top 1%. And one thing about a Democrat temporary policy, there's no such thing as temporary. It just now, look up, everybody pays the national income tax. Whether you make $500 a year, whether you make $5 trillion a year, everybody pays it. But it was only supposed to be for the top 1% and 1%. And that's exactly what this would be. And remember something. They've tried this. They tried it in New York. They're trying it in Virginia. They tried it in Chicago. It's failed.
Socialism fails. Democrat policies fail. Where they just think, let's just throw money at it. That'll fix it. Not strategizing. Not hiring the best people. They want to give everybody a chance while taking the money to fund riots and other type of propaganda fighting against the American people and American way of life. Now, this is where she attacks the voters over Mamdani's failure. So let me let that play.
You know, I've seen one or two questions about people complaining that the snow is still here from the last storm. And like, what are people gonna do about it? And I'm starting to wonder how many of you know how snow works and know about like at what temperature snow melts. And at this point, I might be calling Sauron telling them not to close schools on Monday because we gotta be open in the schools, you guys. Snow does not melt at 20 degrees. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I need us to get it together. I know it's bad that more's building up, but please know that this is nature.
She's so ignorant because that has nothing to do with the mayor getting the snowplows out. As a matter of fact, did you know in New York right now, Zohran Mamdani is hiring emergency snow shovelers. But in order to do that, guess what you got to have? You have to have your ID and your proof of citizenship. So you have to show proof of citizenship to be an emergency snow shoveler in New York.
Yeah, I did a video on it the other day.
For you to vote.
Check it out. I did a video on it, a reaction on it. With Benny Johnson reaction.
Now, let's listen to a constituent of AOC's as she just tells it like it TI is. Check this out.
Serious question. AOC's out here like, if anything happens to any of these representatives, Tom Homan on the Department of Homeland Security, you are on notice. Nothing better happen. Really? What are you gonna do? We people that live in New York, us people around here, we know you don't do shit. This is what you do. You yap. Look at when you were out there thugging it.
There's my other stuff I do as well.
That fire alarm pulling jerk off that didn't win. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. You ain't been nowhere. You don't do shit. You don't do shit for anybody in New York. People in your district don't even fucking know what you look like. Now all of a sudden you're gonna go defend fucking Noah? Please, okay? You're drinking whatever it is that Bernie's telling you to drink, because we know Bernie ain't going nowhere, and you're on the same fast track to nowhere. And I don't think you should be out there making threats with your little flappy mouth that your skinny little toothpick ass cannot cash, okay? Because
Thank you.
you do nothing. Feel free if you want to, throw something my way. Let us know. What is that about? Like you were crying at the cages. Please, you should get a fucking Academy Award, okay? Because you're a better actress than you are a politician. Not that your acting is good, although you do a fucking dead on balls accurate as the fucking hell.
You said 6 million, right? 600 million. That should have went to the Bears study the illegals.
That's the best one.
Billions of dollars went to the illegals instead of to Chicago. Now the Bears might leave.
You see her ears,
That's
her
the
voice
issue.
is even gone. It's driving her crazy because she's never had to face this type of pushback. She's never really been asked hard questions in America. And that's what happens with these Democrats. That's why whenever you debate them on policy, they fall apart. Ask them one follow-up question after they do all their grandstanding and all of their headline type statements, all their little colloquialisms and all that crap. Ask a follow-up question. And don't dare ask a second follow-up question. They're going to run out of the room and have a meltdown because they can't defend it. That's why they want the school systems destroyed. They want their voters as ignorant and as reliant as possible. They want voters that are dependent on them and ignorant of it.
That's me. I met Hakeem Jeffries. That's Hakeem Jeffries before he left Chicago and went to Philly. That's me and Hakeem Jeffries.
Or they lose their job as fashion. Forcing people to stay in their home and lying to them about a freaking disease and that wearing certain protections helps them when it really doesn't. Lying to them about medications that they can take that they might have in their home cabinet that can save their life, saying no, it doesn't. And then
Annette Ron.
who are telling the truth. So don't give me this crap. These demon rats, that's exactly what they are. They're demons that want to destroy this country, but we're not going to let them. So if you stayed and watched
Jesse White.
Tell me, did it look like she was crying to you?
That's when I was a barber.
Was gone from being upset, or did she look like the strong champion that she tried to portray herself to be? And if you stayed and you watched this video, as always, thank you so much from the top and bottom of my heart. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed already, subscribe.
That's me as a barber, Ernie
Make sure that
Banks.
you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out.
That's me and D Rose.
All right, Patriots, we got some awesome news. I mean, on the heels of the fact that the Democrat Party are just looking insane and more people's eyes are being opened, especially with the dropping of those files, people are really being exposed to things that were just seen as what they thought was conspiracy theory. Now, on top of that, them going out on the global stage, making themselves look foolish like clowns with basic questions, foreign policy questions that anybody that's considering a run as president, even as senator for that matter, should be aware of, because you vote on these things. I mean, even as a member of Congress, you're voting on these
And me
things.
and Pat Mikowski.
And how do you vote without having any knowledge about what's going on geopolitically? So now on top of that, you know, the Democrats have been saying just how awesome Carney was when he was out at Davos and he spoke against Trump. And when Trump was talking about taking Greenland and the Canadian Prime Minister was talking real big, then he opens up the Canadian market to China for EVs. And Trump is saying, oh my God, they're going to flood your market with EVs. Your local EV companies will be put out of business, because when China comes into a market, their government funds their companies. So they can sell product at a loss without any concern about making profits, because that's the game plan. So they'll undersell the other companies at a point to where it'll put the other companies out of business. Then once everybody's out of business, all of a sudden price adjustments go up. They dominate the market, and they can sell it for anything
That's
that they
crazy.
want. They do that to country after country after country. And they've been able to do that here in America with certain products, which is why President Trump putting barriers up, putting tariffs on, because
Thank you guys. 3 hours in. Appreciate you
China,
guys.
please
Let's
know,
continue.
we weren't selling anything over there, and all of the money that they made here, none of it stayed here. You may or may not have known that, but that's what was happening. So Carney decides he was going to side with China rather than listening to Trump out of ego and out of pride. So it just so happens that in the Olympics, Canada and the United States face off. Now, this is a big deal, because Canada's grandstanding, even though we are Canada's protection, we are, even though Canada's the elder of the relationship, we are the protector. We are the big brother physically. Their military,
Profo, good morning.
We are their military. So for them to be talking like that, and understand, every person in Canada have been talking crap, have been disrespecting America.
No, Profo, my thing is this. Brandon Johnson had billions of dollars, and he ended up getting it to the illegals. You know what I'm saying? And now they in debt. He could have used that money for the Bears, help the Bears out. And now to be going with twice against the Packers, man, that was our Super Bowl for us right there, beating the Packers twice. But Brandon Johnson should have budgeted that money better, him and Pritzker, period.
This game, and just pretty much called it a W in their column, except for when you have it, America didn't go for it. And guess what made it that much sweeter? It's on the 46th anniversary of the 1980 Miracle Team. Literally.
Amazing. Subscribe, everybody.
The anniversary, which made it that much sweeter when it happened. So on the heels of Carney talking big, they came to this, and he put a message out, and I'm going to show it to you. Check this out.
Good luck, Team Canada. You've earned this moment. After long days and late nights, through discipline, sacrifice, and relentless effort, you're ready to compete at the highest level. And our country is right behind you. In a more divided and uncertain world, your success will unite Canadians from coast to coast to coast and remind us that we are part of something bigger. You're wearing the maple leaf with pride in the Olympics and the Paralympics. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring us and for demonstrating to Canadians and to the world the very best of Canada. Your country is with you. Canadians are with you. This is your moment, and it's our celebration. What makes you and Canada great.
So, as you see, Team USA men's hockey wins gold medal in overtime against Canada in Winter Olympics. Let's check out some of it. Check out this news report.
Continuing with sports elation for hockey fans across America and just, anybody who's go USA.
Exactly.
Men's hockey takes the gold medal over Canada in the Milan Olympic finals. It happened just moments ago.
Oh, yeah. U.S. player Jack Hughes scored the final goal in sudden death overtime against our longtime rivals, our very own Princess Jennifer McGraw. Live at O'Brien's. You got the beats behind you. Take it away.
USA taking home the gold for the first time in more than 40 years. Here at O'Brien's, this place is absolutely
USA, 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 USA.
You're just excited when all the hockey players just jumped on the field. The sticks went flying, gloves went flying. How are we feeling? USA! USA! How are you feeling? USA! Amazing! Oh, let's watch you with all these fans out here. One more time. Just incredible. You can't beat it. So much spirit, so much energy. This is just something I'll never forget. And so much love for America. The deepest. Love it. USA, baby. Let's go. How did you think we were going to do?
What's that?
How did you think we were going to do?
Oh, I knew we were going to win the whole way. I knew we were going for gold the whole way.
It was certainly a nail-biter.
Huh?
It was certainly a nail-biter.
Oh, yeah. I was freaking out a little bit towards the end, but I knew on 3-on-3 we had him.
I've been talking to you guys all day. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling electric. I bring some people together. There's a Ranger fan in the corner, but I'm an Islander fan. I hate his guts, but today we're one under this roof. Thank you, O'Brien's.
And amazing to watch it with all your friends.
To be with some of the people I love the most in the world, like this is just an unbelievable sports. This is why sports is so beautiful. It's why hockey is so beautiful. It's why we're proud to be American. Like this is unbelievable. It's exciting. I can't imagine what they're feeling.
Right. And then what about you? Did you almost cry? Oh my God, I almost cried. I had chills everywhere. It was amazing. Such a great feeling. And so much fun.
I mean, yeah, you can't make this up. Like these are the moments you live for. Special place, special time, special team. This was the moment for us, and I'm just so happy to be here, so happy to be American.
No doubt, an exciting time for the gold medal. The gold medalists, our hockey team has done it for the first time in more than 40 years. Now we clinch our third gold medal. Lauren, Megan, the party continues.
It does. That looks like a lot of fun. It looks like so much fun. Can we back the cam up to our friend you were just interviewing in the red? He has a fantastic hat on. The American, behind the other way. The American flag with the Olympic rings. Yes, #1. Can she hear us? Probably.
She might not be able to because they couldn't even hear each other.
I don't know where he got that hat.
She might be done with us.
They needed
He had
to get real close to
he had a really cool hat. It's like that contemporary style that everyone's really into, and I don't know what they call
like
it.
an off-white.
Yeah, a little off-white. There was like an Olympic, some Olympic rings with an American flag.
You know me.
You know what we need to do? We'll get like a screenshot. I think you can chat
to look it up,
and then figure out what does it do.
Just like that. On the heels of all the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available because he's a really good hockey player, and he's the one that hit the game winner. So if I could, I would show you that footage, but check him out as he talks and just give you goosebumps knowing that these young men did it. It's been 46 years. 46 years, and for them to do it in this time and in this fashion and in overtime when everybody counted them out, you don't understand just how much crap the Canadians have been talking. But listen to this.
Goal. I mean, how does that sound, my friend? Jack Hughes with the golden goal. I mean, how does that sound, my friend?
Sounds great, but it's not about me. I'm so happy for this group. I'm so happy that we could win. I'm so happy that USA Hockey's gold medalist, and just a great day for USA Hockey in our country. We're proud that we did this for us. We're proud that we did this for the guys in the locker room, but, we did it for the people back home and all the love and support we get. You dream of winning a gold medal for your country. A lot of talk for us was breaking the drought. We thought this was the group that could do it. And, we're gold medalists. We're the champions. Tonight, we're the best in the world.
And you know what? He stayed patriotic. He said he did it for his country, unlike those radical leftists who got up there and embarrassed America on the world stage. Now, this was the 1980s Miracle team. Here's a picture of them. And they've got that movie. It's called Miracle if you want to check that out. Now, check this footage out. And again, this is 1980. And you can tell just by the way they playing. Check this clip out.
After this video, that'll be it. I'll be back tomorrow. Once again, I'm a live stream Monday through Thursday. If not, something comes up, I'll be right here for you guys to share. Let's continue.
You saw that? They came in getting it on. So yeah, that's, you know, we went out, America won gold. I just wanted to come and bring you that news in case you did not know. The United States hockey team has won the gold medal on the 46th anniversary. And like I say, it did not just happen just now. It happened yesterday. But I wanted to bring it to you in case you didn't know. So big up, and that's on the heels of Canada talking all of that crap and really thinking that they were going to beat us. So it's just not working out for Canada when it comes to them dealing with the United States, because America is back. This is what it's about. All those soft-hearted people that think being America first and America on the offense somehow means that we got to hate everybody else. No, it just means that we're going to take care of home first and make sure home base is protected before we focus on protecting anybody else, period. They had us splintered all over the place, defense weakened, and we got our Secretary of War out there setting freaking bench press records, motivating the soldiers. Man, it's a great time to be an American. So leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the goal. Do you follow hockey or?
Thank you guys. I'm going ahead and end it with that. I'll be back tomorrow. Once again, I'm going to start live streaming Monday through Thursday in the morning. If anything comes up, we'll go from there. Thank you guys. Let's grow together. Common sense, America first. Subscribe.